Tell somebody, I declare that you are more than a conqueror. Tell two people, I declare that you are more than a conqueror.
Tanumo, onunchoni ha o dama, chiechele wekun. Oni anuchumo, osoli mojiake, ubawo nani, aya, baba shushueshwe. Amen.
Yeah, that's what I believe. See, his sunshine is all around us, and there are beautiful clouds where you are. That's how I know that these worries will not last. I can see you've been crying and staying wide awake, asking yourself why the journey is so tough. They say tough times never last, only tough people do. So don't stop believing, I know it's gonna be better. Say la, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, la, 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 ba-dum. Can't be loved by everybody, it's impossible, you know. And trust me, it's okay, so let the toxic people go. Your peace within is more priceless than a pearl. You got to be happy, cause life's just way too short. Don't stress the little things, they will only waste your time. Just take it easy, easy like a nursery rhyme. And I'm singing, I know it's gonna be okay. So I wanna see you smile today. Hey, you just gotta be happy, man. Good days, bad days, it's all part of life. But you must keep the groove on and enjoy every single day. I'm sure you've had some happy days before. So what makes you think you can't have more? Keep on fighting and you'll see. You will soon see rainbows. Hey, come on! La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Ba-dum, ba-dum, boom. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Ba-dum, ba-dum, boom. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Ba-dum, ba-dum, boom. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Around the way. Beautiful clouds, where you are, where you are. There are beautiful clouds, where you are, where you are. Oh, oh.
Government is broke, But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned?
In South Africa, for the countries that have been victims, it's been a very traumatic affair. When something like this happens, it sets all of us back. People have been displaced, their property has been taken, their businesses have been closed, and indeed we lost two of our citizens who were killed. Several people were injured and had to be admitted in hospital. And it doesn't appear that the South African authorities are responding to the magnitude that one would expect them to do. The persons who are funding these xenophobic attacks are known, and they've been left free to continue to do what they want to do, and so it's become something they are doing with impunity at very high cost to us. We had to charter planes to go to South Africa to evacuate our citizens. We operated 3 charter flights, and we're operating another 3 charter flights because there's still about another 900 who have signed on voluntarily to come back home. And they come back with nothing. Most of them just the clothes on their back and a small bag. And some of them have lived there for 15, 20 years. They have set up businesses, and we've had to pay them reintegration fees, allowances to allow them to be able to reintegrate into society. So I do think that, as the continental body, AU should take an interest in this issue, because it has the potential to wreck everything that we have worked for: African solidarity, African integration, and all that. And so we sent a notice that we wanted to put it on the agenda for the AU meeting that was supposed to take place in Egypt. Unfortunately, that meeting was postponed. Yeah, but we're hoping that at the next opportunity we will be able to put it on the agenda. President Ramaphosa sent a delegation to me yesterday. We met with them, and I explained the reason why it was important for us to discuss it. Sometimes these things happen, we want to sweep them under the carpet, but when we do that, we rather do not cure what the problem is. And so I told them, I said, Ghana, we don't harbor any malice against South Africa, but we're raising it as an issue for discussion to even give South Africa the opportunity to take that platform of the continental body and explain what they're doing to the world.
The issue of xenophobic attacks on Africans, not only Ghanaians, African citizens from many countries in South Africa, is something that is really a big source of concern for the Commission. I was in South Africa a month ago. I met President Ramaphosa, and I met Minister Lamola. The official statement is that we condemn that.
Right, Honorable Speaker, stability is not a trophy to be worn once and displayed forever. It is a garden. It must be tended every single day or we lose it. Ghana has traveled this road before. We have stabilized, celebrated, relaxed, and unfortunately relapsed. 17 times we turned to the IMF for a bailout. We are determined that the 17th time shall be the last. But that determination cannot rest on the shoulders of the government alone. This is my call to every Ghanaian. The gains we have secured are national gains. They demand a national commitment to protect them. Mr. Speaker, it means paying your taxes so that our schools, hospitals, roads are financed increasingly from our own resources rather than by unsustainable borrowings. It means demanding value for money for every cedi of public expenditure and refusing to look away when public resources are wasted. Mr. Speaker, it means holding this government and every government that follows to the fiscal rules we have written into law. Mr. Speaker, fiscal discipline can no longer be a policy of a minister. It must become the culture of our country. Mr. Speaker, stabilization can never be the destination. Stabilization was never the destination. It was only the price of entry. Ghana has paid that price. What comes next is the work that changes life at scale, the work of transformation. Through the new economy that His Excellency President Mahama will unveil, we will build an economy that does not merely withstand shocks, but create jobs, generate wealth, and grow on the strength of what Ghana produces. Mr. Speaker, the true measure of a finance minister is not how much he spends, but how faithful he protects the resources entrusted to him. Right, Honorable Speaker, the true measure of a finance minister is not how much he spends, but how faithful he protects the resources entrusted to him. The money we manage does not belong to those entrusted to manage it. It belongs to the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, it belongs to you and belongs to all of us. Every cedi collected in taxes, every cedi borrowed, and every cedi spent carries with it a sacred obligation to use it wisely, honestly, and always in the national interest. My assurance to this House and to every Ghanaian is simple: your money is safe. Your money is safe. Under the leadership of President Mahama, your economy is in safe hands. And as long as I have the honor to serve as Minister for Finance, it will remain so. Mr. Speaker, I pledge to level with you always. I will tell you the truth about the state of the public finances, whether the news is welcoming or difficult. We will never conceal our challenges or exaggerate our successes. Trust is about the truth, and truth must remain the foundation of sound economic management. Our responsibility now is not merely to celebrate these gains, but to preserve them for future generations. Economic stability is not an event. It is a duty renewed every day through prudent stewardship, fiscal discipline, and unwavering accountability. Mr. Speaker, Ghana is not going back. Under the leadership of His Excellency President Mahama and with the determination of the Ghanaian people, Ghana is moving forward steadily, honestly, and together.
The finance minister has just told this House that the true character of a finance minister is not determined by how much he spends. Such a statement must cause palpitation among ministers of state. Mr. Speaker, basically what he is telling all ministers, that he is not going to spend, he is not going to release funds to you. Mr. Speaker, already you are suffering and you've been redundant in your various ministries. His deputy minister told the nation that 1.6 billion was released to the Agric minister. Today, he says only 1.1 billion. You see, the true measure of a finance minister is not how much he spends. Mr. Speaker, throughout his review, there was no policy announcement for the cocoa sector. The 4 million farmers, the 4 million cocoa farmers are suffering. This finance minister, since he took over as a supervising minister responsible for cocoa, we have seen suffering and wailing, and he comes here to lament. Mr. Speaker, he talks about determining the true cost of economic policy. The true cost. He's talking about having met some debt. What he has forgotten, that he refused good counsel from the minority when Gold Board and Bank of Ghana charges on the code for reserve policy was at 15%. We cautioned. He didn't listen. Later, IMF forced them to reduce it to 9%. 3 days ago, the governor announced that he was no more going to participate in this gold for reserve. It's too late in the day. You've already incurred losses of 9.6 billion. That is what the IMF told you. Many of the Ghanaian youth lost their jobs. You sacked them. Today you are here. Instead of promising to restore them into their rightful places in the job market, you are not doing so. Then you come, you say we should praise you. Who is going to praise you? If you don't pay and you are holding the money and then you are there tightening belt and only paying your party members, then we should praise you. We are not interested in the books. We are interested in the economy in our pockets. People are suffering, Mr. Speaker. People need jobs. Your youth, even your MPs, they are praising you here. A lot of them are hungry. Your backbenchers, they can't go back home. Your backbenchers, and you hear you say we should praise you. We will not praise you. It is the same old story. Asem Dadana, Mrs. Sai, Mrs. Sai, Mrs. Sai, again, Asem Dadana.
Mr. Speaker, this media report clearly indicates that the cathedral project is not ongoing. Mr. Speaker, what is ongoing is the construction of new schools. What is ongoing is the improvement of existing schools. What is ongoing is the improvement of the quality of schools. This media report shows that what is ongoing is the construction of roads, the construction of bridges never seen in the history of Ghana before. We have a finance minister who is not borrowing recklessly but is successfully managing our economy. That is why I said that this finance minister has clearly given a good account of himself. Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians are struggling, working day and night to pay the debts, to fix the economy. Like the minister has indicated, ordinary Ghanaians are making sacrifices. Where is the man who put us in the debt? Where is Ken Ofori-Atta? After borrowing recklessly, creating the debts, he has gone and he is hiding in the United States of America. We must bring Ken Ofori-Atta back. Ken Ofori-Atta should be brought back to come and account to the good people of Ghana why he so grossly mismanaged our finances and left ordinary Ghanaians to struggle and fix the economy whilst he enjoys in the United States of America. And this is a man who was presented by the NPP as a finance minister. And the same people are telling Ghanaians that they should be brought back to power. So that you do what with power? You will bring Ken Ofori-Atta back and he will come and be building cathedrals.
The review has confirmed our description of the original budget, the 2026 budget, as having only bones, no meat. And for that matter, can best be described as Koscielko budget. The minister tried his best to do what he does best, propaganda. But his own data gave him out. His own data showed that the honeymoon is over. They are now faced with the reality because this budget is empty. And because it has no meat and they have no story, again, the minister resorted to blame game. They've been doing this blame game from the time they assumed office in 2025. And after 18 months in government, they are still doing blame game. The Ghanaian people voted for them to deliver just that and not to blame the previous government. But as you all heard from the minister's address, there is nothing to tell the people of Ghana. I will point out to you some of the confessions the minister made. Confessions in respect of issues they disputed last year and early this year. I will also point out some inaccuracies in the presentation, as well as their failure to implement some of the programs they promised the people of Ghana. Number one is on the issue of reserves, international gross reserves. Most of you were in this parliament when the minister brought the reserve management policy. They call it accelerated reserve management policy to this house for parliament to approve, in which document they stated that by the end of 2026, reserves, gross reserves will reach 8.6 months of import cover. Sadly, in the minister's presentation today, he stuck to 3 months of import cover. So how can 8.6 months of import cover all of a sudden become 3 months of import cover? Number two, primary balance. If you recall, in 2025, when they presented the budget for that year, the minister did what we call voodoo analysis of arrears by asking every MDA to bring arrears even when they were not recognized by the Ministry of Finance. He put together about 67 billion Ghana cedis. If you recall, we told you and the people of Ghana that what the minister was doing was propaganda. As a result of the inclusion of those arrears in the budget, the fiscal outturn was distorted. In fact, in the 2025 budget, the minister reported that the primary fiscal deficit was 3.9% for 2024. He did this so that he could undermine the previous government. 3.9%, not the overall fiscal. 3.9%. In the 2026 budget statement, the minister revised it to 3.1%. The same 2024 primary deficit revised from 3.9% to 3.1%.
Fund the construction of the Atamils Memorial House and Library in Ekumfi Otuam, the ancestral home of Professor Mills. Meanwhile, the John Evans Atamils Residential Library Research Facility, constructed and inaugurated in 2016, is reported to be in a state of disrepair. I'm, however, informed that renovation works have started, and I commend the government for that. Ladies and gentlemen, the floods that struck Greater Accra in the last week of June and the first week of July this year are a distressing illustration of the same institutional neglect. As the waters rose, I listened to politicians and opinion leaders urge residents not to dump waste into gutters and drains. This advice is well intended, but evades a deeper truth. Ghana has no serious system for collecting waste at the point of generation and moving it to disposal, recycling, or power generation sites. Ghana's own land use planning framework classifies certain areas as flood-prone and reserves them as protected open space. Yet, across Greater Accra, all the 7 planned flood retention ponds in Papao, Medina, Oshie, Ajirigano, 2 in Asharaboche, University Farms, and Sherman have all been encroached upon. Also, the buffers meant to protect water courses, such as the Lafa, have been overrun by informal development, sanctioned and tolerated by the very state institutions charged with enforcing the laws. On the western edge of Accra is a cement factory built in a Ramsar protected wetland. The factory was sanctioned by the MP, the chiefs, MMDCE, residents, and the seat of government itself, because it was classified as part of 1D1F.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are 2 types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Good morning. Thank you very much for joining the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on the Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro. It's always a pleasure to come your way to beautiful Friday morning. This indeed is the day the Lord has made. We're glad that we're able to return here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that matter to you and I. And I want to say today is the 24th. 24th of July, 2026. And so I'll go straight ahead and look at what the papers are reporting this morning. Let me start with the Daily Graphic. Daily Graphics talks about minorities skeptical about economic gains. Government deposits $1.7 billion for Accra Kumasi Expressway, funds protected until main contract awarded. Economy on sound recovery path, according to the minister. Gold Fields wishes Black Queen success in Women's Africa Cup. Half-year performance best in years. Revenue on track. Spending down, zero arrears, interest drops. Finance Minister. Ghanaian Times says that suspected narcotic drugs concealed in fertilizer sacks intercepted, 2 arrested. Atamil's commemorative lecture, Fund the Universities Properly or Risk Ghana's Future, Professor Frimpong Boateng. There's media budget. New buses, roads, energy gains to drive growth, Finance Minister. Minority describes media budget as uninspiring. We want to rush to Eurobond market, according to Finance Minister. Government scraps 20% excise duty on local fruit juices. Daily Guide says media budget review. No additional budget for 2026 as government targets more revenue. Minority jobs NDC over fiscal surplus. Baumia Ashanti NPP executives meet over Wontumi. Buffer stock trial court directs AG to amend charges. The Insight says that Atamils, 40 years on, Frimpong Boateng urges return to Asumdwe Hene's leadership values. Ghana Medical Trust Fund boosts Tamale Teaching Hospital NICU with oxygen equipment. IGP Dr. Thing twice to spearhead awareness against indiscipline July 29. Ghana Gardening and Flower Movement launches 14th Ghana Gardening and Flower Show with focus on green enterprise and more. And as Falana urges Ghana and Nigeria to sue South Africa over xenophobic attacks. Economic recovery under Mahama Rio, Ghana moving forward, according to Finance Minister. That's breakthrough news under attack in the United States. Government bans Ghana card. The news center is what I have now. Sorry about that. The news center. Government bans Ghana card photocopying from November 2. Auditor General orders NPA to refund $2.6 million paid to NTL. And as government cuts expenditure by 35.6 billion cedis in first half of 2026, a sign of fiscal distress slowing economic activity. This media budget review fails Ghanaians, according to Minority. Sinking fund accumulates 15.6 billion cedis. Dr. Ato Forsing has been talking. The Chronicle, the Chronicle is here with us. We missed the Chronicle, don't we? Yes, finally, the Chronicle is back. on Good Morning Ghana. Wonderful. Ato's revenue target was deliberately understated, according to Con. Let's go up on Chroma. And it's $1.7 billion ready for Accra-Kumasi Expressway. Ato forcing. Daily Post says that Ghana Medical Trust Fund boosts Tamale Teaching Hospital NICU with oxygen equipment. As Ghana exceeded economic targets in the first half of 2026 after forcing. President Mahama pushes local production of medicines and vaccines across Africa. Government has recapitalized banks, restored confidence in financial sector, according to Ato forcing. And then you have the Catholic Standard. The Catholic Standard. It says bishops call for truth in digital age. And there's historic moments. Africa hosts world's Catholic media leaders. Kigali prepares for landmark Cygnus World Congress. And there's Pope Leo XIV, honors Ghana's faithful servants. And then there is, as you can always predict, or you can always anticipate or expect, an editorial. Honors that demand creator service. The Informer is next. NLA Fidelity Bank partner to modernize lotto payments, raise instant VIN ceiling to 30,000 Ghana cedis. The ECOWAS prioritized peace and security counterterrorism brigade set for 2027 as bloc renews Baba Kamara's mandate. Congrats to Baba Kamara for the renewal of your mandate. And there's Hohoi trafficking bust. Yoko rescues 39 victims and uncovers alleged cross-border travel fraud syndicates. And there's also 69th ECOWAS ordinary session. Bloc says bold agenda for economic integration, security, and regional unity. Metro Lens says that your money is safe under Mahama. Finance Minister Ato forcing assures Ghanaians Anodon lead Africa's first continental cancer law drive. Free Wuntumi. All political prisoners are marking to government. Kingsley Quays produces 20 Cuba-trained doctors for Ghana. Whoa, that's a good one. And then you have the Business and Financial Times that says government to have fiscal anchor to 0.5% of GDP from 2027 with increased capex targeted. MTN positions fiber broadband as backbone of digital economy. $3.5 billion upstream investment push aims to reverse oil decline. Private sector credit hits 119.6 billion cedis, up 41.2% since June 25. This lending rate half and margins frightening, isn't it? Yep. All right. So Go Black Queens is also here on the front page of today's Business and Financial Times. Let's now go to MetroTVOnline.com. It says government targets higher tax revenue without introducing new taxes. This public and AI system has added $300 million to revenue in 4 months, according to Ato forcing. Government targets higher tax revenue without introducing new taxes. Mid-year budget 2026, Ato forcing says government collected more taxes despite scrapping e-levy. 2026 media budget, Ato forcing announces more funding for Accra flood control. Now, what are the quote cards saying? Let's check that out. What are the quote cards saying? All right. So you have government unveils $300 million education plan to build 10 SHSs, upgrade 50 others. That's here. And also you have, okay, what's next? Okay. You can decide to jail all MPP MPs who will still criticize you when you're back into government. All right, and those economic gains must reflect in the lives of ordinary citizens. Well, that's coming from, that's an economist who has been commenting on yesterday's media budget review. Now we'll talk about that on our show today. Today, Mr. Paul Adomochi is the host of Good Evening Ghana. He's also a political analyst and a social commentator as well. Will joining us, and also the Akwetia MP will also be joining us this morning on Good Morning Ghana. You don't want to miss it.
Tanumo, onunchoni hao wadangma, chiechele wekung, wani anuchumo, osoli mojiake, ubawa nani, aya, ubaba shushuishwe. Amen.
And there they are. The squad is ready, lined up, ice cold, focused and prepared for national duty. Every bottle in position, every label shining with confidence. And here comes the selection. One bottle steps forward, picked from the squad, ready to deliver for Ghana. He takes the first sip. Oh yes, refreshingly hydrating. The whistle goes. The Black Stars are on the move. He breaks through the defense like flowing water. Beautiful control. He lines it up. He strikes. Goal! Ghana is awake. From the fridge to the field, Awake keeps you refreshed. Awake purified drinking water. One for life. Proudly supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA approved.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600 360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking Publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Finding my dream apartment in just 2 days was a breeze with 7terragh.com. Looking for your next home, the perfect piece of land, or the best commercial property for your business? Are you worried about sending money home for property and finding nothing when you return? Well, worry no more. 7terragh.com is just a platform to find prime lands, perfect properties, or vibrant real estate development at the click of a button. 7terragh.com is your go-to property listing platform that allows you to register, list, rent, buy or sell, and connect with correct agents. With our AI-powered smart search, personalized dashboards, verified agent connection, and interactive property maps, all your property needs have been made easier. Check us out on 7terragh.com or contact us on 0302 998 246 or 0561 032 252. 7terragh.com, powered by MNC Properties.
Mommy, good morning.
Good morning, my son. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mom. How about you?
I'm fine.
Joe, I just saw your mom doing her usual morning routine. Like, it was just 2 weeks she underwent a major colon surgery.
Bro, see, my mom is doing perfectly fine, and we're all excited about it. It was minimally invasive surgery, and the recovery has been very fast.
Minimally? Hey! No, wait. What do you mean by that?
So they offered my mom a laparoscopic colon surgery. Laparoscopic colon surgery, which we accepted. It turned out it was equally safe with a very fast recovery time, and the cost involved too was very, very reasonable. She was discharged 3 days after the surgery, and you can see her, she's on her feet again.
3 days?
Just 3 days, bro.
Mean Tuber Hospital, first Ghana colorectal center, aim to serve a peculiar health need.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal toothpaste. Kel Charcoal toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, who
behia se metwa sapapade to ama me manfo. Kel Chaco's natural ingredients eno bome se ho ban e ma ne swen ne sanso mama hotoso e wo bedwam.
Kel Chaco toothpaste. Choose Kel Chaco toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Today's class is going to be an exciting one. Now, who can share an unforgettable moment in their life? Okay, Asempa.
I'd like to talk about my first time. It was her natural look, complemented by her favorite green silky apparel that caught my attention. I have to say, she automatically possessed me with her smile, which exposed her beautiful white teeth. That's not all, her enduring signature perfume could be smelled from afar. Madam, why do you look so surprised? My first time with her was special and irresistible. I'm talking about Cindy Rice. Cindy Rice can be found in selected supermarkets nationwide.
Cindy Rice, sweet aroma, great taste. This advert is FDA approved.
From the rich soils of Ghana, our farmers grow the finest ingredients. We clean, hand select, and carefully craft into bold, unforgettable flavors. And when you open our little bag of big taste, it's pure, bold, unforgettable flavor bursting in every bite. Enjoy the goodness, made with big care. This advert is FDA approved.
Ghana, Greater Accra, Gamashi. Are you ready for the biggest festival carnival in Ghana?
Is the Gahomo Carnival 2026.
Starting from Thursday 6th to Sunday 9th of August 2026.
The heartbeat of Ghana will echo from Jamestown, Manchabola, flowing through the historic Atanos High Street back to Lighthouse.
Witness and experience 4 unforgettable days, 1 historic destination.
Gamashi,
6th August, Red Thursday.
So be
the legendary homecoming procession.
7th August, White Friday. Yeah. Dressed in white and experience the Twin Festival, culture, tradition, and music. Saturday, 8th August, Homowa Red Saturday. The grand climax. Join thousands in the sea of red and display of royalty as Galhashi comes alive with spectacular sprinkling of popoi.
Followed by a mega concert featuring Ghana's biggest music stars.
Sunday, Owala.
Come dressed in white.
A day of thanksgiving, reconciliation, and a powerful gospel concert to crown Homowa, celebrating 200 years of Katamanso.
Date 6th to 9th August. Venue Jamestown,
Manchabona. Crowd is calling. Gamashi is waiting. Don't just hear it.
Come and live it. For vendorship slots, call.
Media partners.
Good day, fellow Ghanaians. Dr. Adelaide Arobasi Ejafon is my name, Executive Director of the Jospon Group of Companies and the CEO of the African Agribusiness Consortium. By the grace of God, after several years of contributing significantly to Ghana's sanitation and waste management transformation, the Jospon Group made another bold decision a few years ago to support the transformation of Ghana's agriculture sector. As we became more involved in the agriculture sector, we realized that although Ghana has enormous agricultural potential, transforming the sector would require the active participation of a new generation of skilled and passionate young people. That is why, in partnership with the People's Friendship University of Russia, Rodin University, we sponsored 118 young Ghanaians to pursue postgraduate studies in agriculture and environmental sciences. Our goal was to prepare young professionals who will help drive Ghana's agricultural transformation. In about 2 weeks' time, these graduates will return home They are coming back with knowledge, skills, and fresh ideas, and we are proud to welcome them home. I believe their success will not only benefit as individuals, but will also contribute to the growth of our agriculture sector and the development of our country. I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the People's Friendship University of Russia, Broden University, for being a valued partner in this journey, and to the Embassy of Ghana in the Russia Federation for its unwavering support and commitment to the welfare of our students throughout their studies. Thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless our homeland, Ghana.
All right, so you are watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. The show is also live on 94.1 FM. Now, we have received some feedback from some of you who tell us that sometimes the radio goes off. So the transmission is intermittent. We have told our technical team to look at that. So we sincerely apologize. I'm sure that we should be rectified ASAP. But we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience caused. So Mr. Kofi Asante and his team are looking at it, and hopefully should be resolved sooner rather than later. So as I did promise, the MP for the Akwetia constituency, Bernard Bedi Akombedu, Esquire, he's a private legal practitioner. Once you hear the Esquire, he's a lawyer. He's joined us this morning. He's also a member of the government's communications team. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us. Good morning, Ghana. Brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope you're doing very well, sir. All right. Now, also joining us is a man who hasn't been here in a while, but of course, he's always on Metro TV Tuesdays and Thursdays with Good Evening Ghana. Mr. Pollard Dumotri is the host of the show. He's a political analyst. He's also a political historian and also a social commentator. He's with us this morning as well. Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Long time. Yeah, we did small. All right, so let's. I know the natural expectation for some of you, for some, not everybody, for some of you is that we'll touch on the budget. Yes, we'll discuss the budget. It's very important, political and social development yesterday. But we want to start this way. Now, the two persons who are with us here have some knowledge in law. One is a lawyer. The other one is not, but he has vast knowledge in law as well. But let's also remember there's politics to this matter. And the two of them, are kind of political animals as well. So I want us to start with this Wontumi matter because it appears not to go away. In fact, yesterday, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, held a very important meeting in Ashanti region. And today's Daily Guide has actually reported, it says Bawumia Ashanti MPP executives meet over Wontumi. Now, the story here by Ernest Kofi Addo in Parliament says that the government has reaffirmed its... sorry about that. The story is actually rather on page 6 of today's Daily Guide. So it says that Joe Iwa is reporting from Kumasi. The New Patriotic Party flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia reportedly held a crunch meeting with Ashanti Regional MPP executives in Kumasi on Thursday. The meeting was held in camera and it was said to have been occasioned by the incarceration of the Ashanti Regional MPP chairman Bernard Intribo-Isiakon, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. Now, sources said Dr. Bawumia, who is the MPP flag bearer for the 2028 elections, charged the party executives not to lose hope following the imprisonment of the chairman. Now, according to him, the party at the national level would not turn their back on Wontumi in this trying moment of his life, and assuring that there would be assuring of the party's full support for the incarcerated Ashanti Regional MPP chairman. Dr. Bawumia, who was accompanied by some MPP legal team members, reportedly highlighted the legal steps the party is taking to help Wontumi to regain his freedom. He therefore admonished the NPP Ashanti Regional Executive to stay united even in the face of this unfortunate incident. Dr. Bawumia, the source said, urged every MPP member to show solidarity with Wontumi, noting that the incarcerated chairman needs the support of all. Meanwhile, the acting Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Patrick Echampong, has stated that plans are in the pipeline to hold a candlelight vigil in Kumasi. In solidarity with Wontumi, urging MPP members to remain calm as legal efforts to get Wontumi released. It's underway. Patrick Echampong also announced that the Ashanti regional executives of the party would visit Wontumi at the Insawan medium security prisons. Oh, what do you make of this move, the decision by the flag bearer to meet the Ashanti executives? In fact, the day before, he was also at the Insawan to visit Wontumi and to give him his support and to tell him that everything has been done to make sure that he's given justice, you know, and to also again reiterate the position which has been canvassed by the minority that is a travesty of justice, shouldn't have happened, etc., etc. I mean, do you think the flag bearer is taking the right steps?
Good morning, viewers. Sorry for that. Good morning too.
Before we get to the meat of the matter,
Parliament, and congratulations for winning that very gruesome by-election. Okay.
Was a tough one.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, you are asking about Dr. Bawumia and whether he took the right decision. Chairman Wontumi will not have been the first politician to find himself in this kind of situation. And if you look back, the reactions are very similar all the time. One of the most recent ones, perhaps, that we can graphically remember is the case of the Muntie Three. And when the Muntie Three were incarcerated for contempt of the courts at the time, there were such political maneuvers which actually went all the way to the extent of people calling on the president, John Dramani Mahama, as he then was at the time, to exercise his power of reprieve to get them out of the situation. There were divisions in that conversation where, as we all remember, the letter from the president's lawyer urged the president not to make any such decision because the Muntie 3 situation was cutting through the cusp of Ghana's history in terms of political authorities' relationship with the judiciary. And so it was a very big matter. Chairman Wontumi's situation may not have the same gravity of cutting through the cusp of Ghana's history, but then he's a big political operative, and the opinions are diverse after Wontumi. There are those who feel that even if the process was not correct, Wontumi deserves it because he has spoken against the government, and especially because he has spoken against, as we call, collateral politicians, former first lady and that kind of thing. So there are those who believe that whatever it is, he deserves it. In fact, we are hearing of some phone conversations that may have occurred where people try to directly talk to President Mahama. We don't know whether that's true or not, but it's coming out. They also talk about Wontumi's unsavory descriptions of the vice president in the past during the 2020 campaign, and all of this plus Wontumi's total behavior, showing off gold everywhere and talking about galamsey and all of that, that the whole conversation is put within a context of here's a guy who really deserves it. And those people don't really look at the process, what happened, and they don't think that that should be part of our political culture. Then there are those who feel that the legal process perhaps should have been made more transparent for everyone to follow, and also that the situation of getting a potential accused person to become a witness for the prosecution, there are those who feel that yes, perfectly law is correct, you can do that, happens all over the world. There are those who also feel that may not be very comfortable if we are looking to build a certain legal system devoid of political this and that. So that opinion is also there. Then there are those who also feel that even though it is law that the person who was the key witness to secure the conviction had himself confessed to performing galamsey, that the case itself suggests that in terms of the performance of galamsey itself, Wontumi was not part of it, but he's been charged for sort of allowing it and encouraging it, which is all an abetment of an offense. But then the person who committed the offense, who admitted that he committed the offense, it is very likely that if we were to look at volumes, we can actually calculate the extent of his galamsey, how much water it's destroyed, how much external material he puts in the ground to affect food production. That can actually be calculated. And therefore, we can calculate the injury that the performance of this galamsey may have occasioned, not just those in the immediate neighborhood, but all those who get the river streams that crosses all over Samamboy and comes to around the country. And they feel that it looks very odd that the law allows such a person to go scot-free and yet to punish another person who is said to have encouraged it. That set of people are there. And then there's a last group of people who feel that whatever it is complicated to jail Wontumi on what appears to be a purported assignment without the document of the assignment itself. That's another strand of the conversation. And they are completely shocked that once an issue of assignment is raised in a criminal process, you have to prove the assignment and document it. And then I saw a final opinion that we read yesterday by a guy, a lawyer, who wrote in some details, and he was talking about how if he reads the judgment, he sees that the burden of proof seems to be shifting. That typically the burden of proof in the Anglo-Saxon common law is that the accused person is innocent until he's proven guilty, and the burden is on the prosecution to show that the accused has done what they say he has done, and there's a standard to that proof which is very high. Now, those people, this article says that it appears that if you read the judgment, it looked like Wontumi was the one who carried the burden of proof, that he should prove that he hasn't done something, or he hasn't done something, or that he has done something. And this article says that that is quite odd and bizarre, because that's not how these things are done in the common law. The burden of proof is always on the prosecution, but you read the judgment, it says Wontumi was unable to show this, he was unable to show that. So all of these conversations are going on around the Wontumi matter. I think that eventually it's going to be a political question. And what I mean by a political question is that because of the circumstances surrounding everything, it's no longer a legal question. If you bring the legal up, you get all strands of opinion. Some agree, some don't agree. Some agree because of A, some are 20% here, 40% there. But ultimately, it's become a national conversation. So it's a political question. What is a political question? People are going to look at the Wontumi situation and determine whether it was fair, whether it was just. People are going to look at the Wontumi situation and say that going forward, there has to be some stringent measures, and other people must suffer the same thing in future, as we have already heard some people saying in the political space. So what we can say about it is that once a political question is arisen, the former vice president, who is the presidential candidate of the party, finds himself in a situation where his Ashanti regional chairman has gotten into this difficulty. It was very urgent that Dr. Bawumia will reach out to the part of the party that is handed over to Wontumi by reason of he being the Ashanti regional chairman, that part of the party, to assure them that in spite of the incarceration of their chairman, things will be moving on according to plan, and that their chairman has also not been ignored, and that legal people are coming together to see how an appeal can be launched, and how that appeal can have a very high chance of success. We do not know yet what form of appeal is going to be, whether it's an appealing against the conviction or appealing against the sentence or whatever. And so he needed to do that because this is really a political matter. So what he did was absolutely correct, especially going to the base of where Wontumi controlled and telling them what he told them yesterday and urging for unity and all that. It helps them to also focus on their work, because some of them are more affected than those of us in Accra because they live with him. So if they are there and they are affected and they don't know what is happening, it doesn't get them to focus on the work they have to do, which is a lot of work. Going into 2028 election, the party is going into a regional contest 2 weeks or so. Thereafter, there's a national contest. Thereafter, there will be election of MPs, etc., etc. And the campaign is really moving on. Once we're in the midterm, the next time you blink, we're in 2028. So these are very important times, and he needed to tell them that focus on your work. I will do the rest.
We're still scratching surfaces and we're looking at the politics of what has happened. We'll get to, like I said, the substance of the matter itself in terms of where my guests agree or disagree with the judgment. We'll look at that. But, I mean, Wontumi is a very good friend. I know that. I mean, when I've seen you interviewing him in one of your journalistic work in Ashanti region, a few times, and I remember one of the interviews where he spoke some English. Me, I was like, this man, but that's one of these things. You like him? He's a great guy. How big is Wontumi in NPP politics, and to what extent do you think this is a big blow to the NPP's quest to to recapture power in 2028? In terms of your knowledge
the
of
question of how big Wontumi is in NPP is an interesting question, because the politics has changed a little bit from what it used to be in 1992. There's a guy who was a member of parliament. I think he's a chief now, Afotiagbo or so.
Afotiagbo, yes.
Now he told a story. He told a story during an interview on Joy FM Personality Profile that during the NDC period, the activations after 1992, he was very close to Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. And Flight Lieutenant Rawlings told him that he should run for parliament. And eventually he did. But he was very surprised when he was told by Flight Lieutenant Rawlings that he should run for parliament, because he didn't see himself as a parliamentarian. And he didn't see that running for parliament was something that you initiate on your own. And that was very telling. He gave the story that in the past, for instance, he said during the 79 elections, people don't on their own initiate to run for parliament. The community sits and checks out and decides that let us go and tell Peter Adjeti that he should run for parliament for us. Let us go and tell Ni Odoi Sykes, he's a big lawyer, that he should run for parliament for us. That's how it was. It wasn't, I decide to run for parliament and I'm doing posters and I'm doing flyers. No. And the way he grew up in Teshi. So in 1979, Teshi, Labadi, and Nungwa were one constituency. It was called Peshi constituency. Yeah. And it was represented by the UNC. So it was won by the UNC, and Adjeti was a person. Adjeti lived in East Cantonment, and that didn't matter in those days. They would travel from Peshi to East Cantonment to tell Peter that he should run for us because they looked around, he's the most important person. The people of Ododo Dio, the PFP people of Ododo Dio in those days, Ni Odoi Sykes, former Ghana's ambassador to Canada, he lived in airport residential area. But they would leave Ododo Dio and go to him and say that, no more, please, come and run for us for parliament. That was how parliament was, as far as he's concerned. So when Rawlings told him that he should run for parliament, he was a bit confused. But he did, and he won. So the point I'm making is that how important one is in the party has changed from what it used to be to now. There is a higher reward for politics these days, and therefore there is a stronger competition for it. The population has become more as well, and we have also become exposed to the politics of other societies based on our television, on our phone, and all of that. So the politics has become quite intense. And so who is important to the party is determined by how much ground a person covers, it's determined by how much interaction a person does, it's determined by how much flesh a person presses. Those are the major determining factors these days.
Of resources that a person
yes, it's also, sadly, resources have become very, very, very important in terms of committing a certain resource and being able to attract funding into the situation like it is in America. So the question about who is important to a party is a dynamic question that will revolve and change at every time.
Right.
So a person may be important in 2016 elections. If you look at the John Mahama situation, for instance, and you cast your mind back to those who were critically important during the John Mahama era, the first one, some of them are not as important as today. A lot also is determined by the leader, because the leaders of our political institutions have become more powerful. And that has always been a crisis that I have tried to address. And the book that I wrote, I talk about it. I was excited recently when the Swiss ambassador who was leaving Ghana made the point in an interview that the national constitution gives too much power to the president. Yeah. I think following from that, all of our parties and all of our political institutions have been developing that kind of character, where the center is very, very powerful. So a constituency chairman is brutally powerful. A regional chairman is that powerful. because it's devolving from the center the way it is. The presidential candidate controls everything. So people's importance to the party is determined by those circumstances of how much flesh you press, how much ground you cover, how much resources you can pull out. And it also includes the person's connection with the center. That's also very important. So you have seen, for instance, that a person like Okwui Anyidoho, for instance, his importance within the NDC during the presidency of Professor Mills completely changed to what his importance became during the presidency of President Mahama. Not just him, but Anna Alote Jacobs, for instance. You will also find in MPP that people who were very strong in the Kufuor era after 2008 did not find space the way they did. You may even find in MPP that people who were very powerful yesterday under Akufo-Addo, when the campaign of 2028 starts, you may not see them around. And the same for NDC. So it's a complicated question to answer to say how powerful was Wontumi. So Wontumi was powerful to the extent of how he was able to control Ashanti region, if he was able to, and was he able to do it in 16, in 20, and in 24, or was he just able to do it in 20? We have to answer that question to determine how powerful he was in Ashanti. And then you come to how much ground he covered. Did he cover more ground in 2016, therefore he was stronger in 2016 than he was in 2024? The situation is even such that people who can be very strong in the political party in one epochal situation can turn out to be negatives in the next election. One election, you have a very positive effect on the situation. The next election, you are actually taking votes away. It all happens. It's like MPs who get voted out. Every MP who gets voted out was once very popular. Yeah. You go to the constituency and he won elections and he was very popular. When K.T. Hammond lost his seat in Adansi Asokwa, I was one of the saddest people because I truly love him. Because K.T. Hammond was super popular and I never thought a day would come when ballots will be counted and K.T. Hammond has lost his seat. But that is how the politics has become. And you go to America, you see that people have been in the Senate for 50 years. I mean, they don't do that as much. You go to UK, you see that people have been in parliament for that long. They still retain a bit of the culture of let's pick this person, let's pick that person. Because in their situation, especially in the United Kingdom, the party is very powerful, not an individual. I've seen how they can change the leader of the party even before the next election. So that's a system that they have given to themselves. So people do not really have to fight and contest to become MPs. In fact, sometimes when a seat becomes vacant, the party can take anybody from within and place him there because they want him in the parliament. So this is how the policies has become. There are good sides to it, but there are also very bad sides to it. So if you say that Wontumi, well, how important was Wontumi to the party? It was important to the extent of all of these different pieces of analysis. Right. I'm not so sure how we can conclude on that.
I want us to take a breather so that I'll kind of come back to you. You can flow uninterrupted. So you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And there they are. The squad is ready, lined up, ice cold, focused and prepared for national duty. Every bottle in position, every label shining with confidence. And here comes the selection. One bottle steps forward, picked from the squad, ready to deliver for Ghana. He takes the first sip. Oh yes, refreshingly hydrating. The whistle goes. The Black Stars are on the move. He breaks through the defense like flowing water. Beautiful control. He lines it up. He strikes. Goal! Ghana is awake. From the fridge to the field, Awake keeps you refreshed. Awake purified drinking water. One for life. Proudly supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger. Chicky chicky whiter. Chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel Kids, happy smile.
Hello, people of Ghana. Looking to buy land this World Cup season? I'm here to give you 6 solid reasons why Estate Masters is your most trusted estate partner. 1. We are genuine. Here at Estate Masters, every promise is real, every transaction genuine. We don't just sell lands, we sell peace of mind. 2. We are credible. Our credibility is proven. We are who we say we are, respected, recognized, and trusted across Ghana.
We sell litigation-free lands. With us, your land is litigation-free. No disputes, no worries, just security for you and your family. Free site visits. We bring you to the land at no cost. Free site visit mean you see before you buy with full confidence. Your paperwork is on us. We provide free documentation, ensuring your ownership is clear and protected.
And yes, you enjoy unbeatable discounts when you buy land from Estate Masters to make land ownership even sweeter. So what are you waiting for? Rush now and secure your genuine land with Estate Masters. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
Every heart burning bright,
Edi asema menya oden o tianti mu amanfo ada o hye me boso obeto phone na mama me phone na say dada menya oden
them was surprised ma
surprise ben
surprise
hey Kofi papa e phone o iPhone 13 nanya ne
ende me fankofo bi mienu amuko circle ene ba ko ne ka chena dan for hour ono odi ni Ghana card eko EBA phone so a otua 40% pen edi ni phone man no a da aka no betua ne kakra Timothy ya me drop na me so me call ho ana me kwanya wo phone de bre on
oh Kofi papa me da say am sure
baby ko go yes say on
wo EBA phones hade yeton iPhones ne ho akade nyina ye sanso de ma wholesale so ye dealer na so pedodo atua anasa afi na wo hye iPhone business na sia braya sia ye hwehwe ye chira kwan e wa Accra Circle Mall any tiptoe lane modern photos in chain American Monso ye ni odor rice ene di nhwenim Kumase Yewedum Ejekuma Brunsainim Obetumi so hu yen e wo www.ebaphones.com EBA Phones no hassle cry
Ghana for the second World Cup running the only Africans left standing.
What's getting another good one is we could have close to 200 doctors so Biase Nampi challenge today we jackpot day we dey live
he's in the area he's gone
oh Madi
it's the Lucky World Cup Sikapuduo promo every 11th June cause 31st July 2026 play and win your share of the 1 million Ghana City jackpot with a minimum stake of just 10 Ghana Cities. 20 lucky customers go win their share of the 20,000 Ghana Cities daily jackpot. Top 10 agents go chop bonus every weekend. Trying to Lucky app, Lucky website, agent who are now dial *288#. Lucky World Cup Sikapuduo. Kitty one tickets, yeah.
Auntie, one man no chopo. Blow beyond your mama.
Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly. Not for persons under 18. Licensed and regulated by the NLA.
Lucky. Play small, win big.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson. Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Femi Kalika, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Femi once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action.
Sasso spray, Mr. Femi Sasso quell.
Yeah, go to my Come on, Tom Preco.
This is the old way.
let me show you a new and a better way. EduPack.
EduPack?
Yes, EduPack. A GS-approved and supported initiative for all first-year students going to SHS by Prospectus Ghana Limited. Now you don't need to go to the market. All your trunks, mattresses, pillows, including plastic chalkboards, are all waiting for your child at the school. Note, all our wooden chalkboards are being changed to plastic ones to avoid bedbugs.
You can also register by dialing *713 *821 hash following the prompts, or you can visit www.edupackgh.com and tap register. You can also register at any ADB branch near you at a very affordable price. EduPack, approved and supported by GES.
Ghana, Greater Accra, Gamashi. Are you ready for the biggest festival carnival in Ghana? Is the Gahomo Carnival 2026. Starting from Thursday 6th to Sunday 9th of August 2026. The heartbeat of Ghana will echo from Jamestown Manchabola, flowing through the historic Atanos High Street back to Lighthouse. Witness and experience 4 unforgettable days, 1 historic destination. Gamashi, 6th August, Red Thursday, So Be. The legendary homecoming procession, 7th August, White Friday, Yeah Yeah Yeah. Dress in white and experience the Twin Festival, culture, tradition and music. Saturday, 8th August, Homowa Red Saturday. The grand climax. Join thousands in the sea of red and display of royalty as Galhashi comes alive with spectacular sprinkling of popoi, followed by a mega concert featuring Ghana's biggest music stars. Sunday, Owala. Come dressed in white. A day of thanksgiving, reconciliation, and a powerful gospel concert to crown Homowa, celebrating 200 years of Katamanso. Date 6th to 9th August. Venue Jamestown Manchabona. Crowd is calling. Gamashi is waiting. Don't just hear it. Come and live it. For vendorship slots, call.
Main Media Partners. Media Partners.
All right, you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Thanks for staying with us. We're grateful. We're grateful. Thank you. We still have, still here. It's Mr. Paul Adomotri, who's host of Good Evening Ghana. He's also a political historian and a political analyst and a social commentator as well. He also, at some point, was the board chair of the Ghana Airport Company Limited, and he's with us this morning. Bernard Bediakon Bedu is a lawyer and also MP for the Akwatia constituency, also a member of the government communications team. Yes, Honorable, before we again get to the meat of the substance of the judgment, how does government feel about this talk about the fact that what has happened to Wontumi is a clear case of punishing him for some provocative, as some have described it, unsavory, and some unpleasant words that he held at the first family and now the vice president. And so he's only been punished for his behavior, not necessarily, that they are contaminating and the decision of the executive to take him to court, attorney general to take him to court and all of that is only a ruse. I'm sure you've heard that kind of commentary as well. How do you respond to that even before you get to the judgment and help us appreciate what exactly happened in court?
Yeah, thank you, my brother.
And that's, of course, the politics side of things.
Thank you so much. Good morning to yourself and your team, as well as my big brother, Paul. Let me also say good morning to our viewers and listeners as well.
Right.
You see, first and foremost, it is not true that this government has any interest whatsoever in taking away the liberties
of Chairman Wontumi for any reason. You see, so let me first say this. Look, it is not true that this thing that is all over the place, that there was a phone call and then all that. No, I mean,
it's not true.
My checks indicate that there is nothing like that.
There was no attempt to intervene for Chairman Wontumi?
Well, they've mentioned names, and the claim is that they put a call through to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and the claim is that President Mahama then forwarded a certain video to. I don't know whether, I'm sure that's what my brother is talking about.
But the names that came up, and again, reportedly and allegedly, was Kennedy Japan and one.
Have you found out from them if it's true? The information I'm getting is that it's not true. So let's put that aside. Look, we are a country, and we always drum home this rule of law. Just recently, a few weeks ago, our sister Sedina Tamaklo, who was charged with some offenses of financial impropriety, in the course of the trial, left the shores of this country and was out there and never came back because of the laws of the Republic. Even against the backdrop of the right to be heard, which is the first principle of law. Our law says that if you are given an opportunity to be heard and you don't take advantage of that, we can proceed without you. That is why when you take the summons, it says that the first page, it tells you that if you don't show up, we will proceed as though you were part of the process. So the process went on, and she was not available to give a version, and yet our law says that we can still proceed. We proceeded and convicted her, even while she was away from this country. Now, when she was out there, we called her convict, and it is properly so called. You understand? All sort of things were said by our brothers on the other side about this woman, but we took it because, you see, she's been convicted by a competent court of jurisdiction. Did you read anywhere that NDC had released a statement condemning her conviction? She wasn't heard, but I'm not saying it's wrong. You heard the premise I laid. It's lawful. If you are granted the opportunity to be heard and you refuse, the court will proceed without you. But it is also a fact that she didn't tell her story. It's a fact. I'm not saying something untoward happened. All sort of things were said. The woman remains a convict. We call her names. And she's in now. The government has ensured that she serves her sentence. Nobody must stop anywhere to say, no, we will not allow or agree, even though she's NDC. Because it was a competent court of jurisdiction that convicted her. And if we have issues, or her lawyers have issues, it is not the streets that will resolve the matter. You go to court, which her lawyers have done. That is how to build a country. So this whole issue of why? My brother Paul, of course, from where I sit, I see him as an ardent critique of this government. Who has arrested him?
Well, there's a story on that coming, so when you finish.
No, you can. I don't have any information that your liberties have been taken away from you because you criticize the government. But if you served a public office, and there is an opportunity to account for your stewardship, you cannot blackmail anybody by the sheer cry that because I'm criticizing the government, I shouldn't be held accountable. Nobody will be blackmailed. But otherwise, if you are a private person and you've always been a private person, nobody, what will they, look, in fact, if you, the provisions in our statute that are used for saying unsavory things against any person is not to charge the person for any offense under other than the section 207 and 208, which I've always insisted that they remain in our books. I would say, because I'm a critic of MPP, I don't think anybody has ever heard me say anything unsavory about Dr. Bawumia. No. We can always criticize without necessarily going that tangent some people go.
Okay. Now, and so my next question to you will then help you to dovetail into the substance of the matter and to help us appreciate what you think about the judgment and why you think that the judgment is sound. So there were 4 key individuals in this matter. You have Michael Jedu AEC, you have one entry. There's something interesting. I need to get the full name. Kwame Entry, right? Who is one of the directors of Akonta Mining. And then you have Henry Okum as well. You have 4 people. How come the state only focused on prosecuting Wontumi and ensuring that Wontumi was jailed?
Okay, so thank you. Z, let me start off by saying that as far as I'm concerned, it was a very fair trial.
Tell me why.
A very, very fair trial. Now, this is it. It's true, yes. The charge sheet has Bernard Tribu Isiakum, Wontumi, Kwame Entry, who is at large. Wegane, he's gone. It's a fact that he's gone. And Akonta Mining, which is an artificial person. Yes, so that's what the charge sheet. And yes, Okum, is that the name?
Yes.
Yes, was also arrested. In fact, the whole case surrounds that gentleman. He's the one who was arrested together with his men. And my brother Paul did justice to it. It's not unlawful. It happens. It's not unlawful at all. You see, this matter, before I even proceed, for anybody to suggest that it's a political matter, for me, I don't agree at all. And that is the problem we have as a country. Let's not do this. Fortunately, I have 2 journalists. Regardless, he is a panel member, he says, a journalist. Let's not always push everything to politics. This is what we do to this country. And people are so emboldened to do all kinds of things because they know they would be covered under the name of politics. Look.
Point well made.
You see, the gentleman was arrested doing mining. That's a fact.
You mean Henry Okum?
Henry Okum. He explained when he was arrested that he was brought there by Chairman Wontumi. In fact, when you read his testimony in court, he doesn't even know Akonta Mining. Only that he did a search and the thing was in the name of Akonta Mining. But Wontumi has been his friend. So he spoke to Wontumi and they had, in fact, he testified that he doesn't know any other person in Akonta Mining, whether what a shareholder, a director, apart from Wontumi. And of course, he dealt with Wontumi and it was Wontumi who brought him there. Now, when we got into, or when the state got into the matter, we realized that, yes, Wontumi, when he was arrested, admitted that, yes, I took it. He didn't say he doesn't know him. He said, yes, he was there under my authority. But what he was there for, as far as I'm concerned, is not to mine. So at least a certain percentage of the story has been confirmed that you know him, you took him there. So we need to do further investigation. Then this man said, okay, I know per what has been shown to me that whatever I was doing was illegal. I concede. I'm sorry. But I'm ready to take advantage of the plea bargain. And so I forfeit A, B, C, D. And on top of it, of course, no prosecution. So I would want to volunteer information at the trial. Let me put it simple like that.
But doesn't that compromise him? The fact that he was guilty, he has admitted that he's guilty.
And he took advantage of our laws.
Plea bargain
regime,
which is lawful. Do you naturally expect these gentlemen to say anything against the state?
He had even said whatever before this whole arrangement happened. The gentleman was arrested. He gave a caution statement. Check the date on the caution statement.
Okay.
In fact, that is even the basis for the trial.
Right.
Because the gentleman, he is the one. Look, if we wanted Wontumi doesn't live at Samra.
Right.
So it is the state, the same Galamsey issues we've always been, talking about. The state is all over. Fishing for those who are doing illegal mining and got to Samra and met this gentleman who is actually mining with our licenses. So it was the gentleman that brought in the name of Chairman Wontumi. And at the time, there was nothing like plea bargain, there was nothing like prosecution. Basic. At the very minute, he said it was going to be that brought me here. So whatever he may have said in court had been said even from day one.
He only repeated it.
He only repeated it in court.
Okay.
So it's not as if at that moment.
I really would have loved to see the caution statement. Anyway, please.
No, but that's the truth. That's the truth, because in fact the judge dealt with all of that. The gentleman spoke and said that. In fact, that was the basis for bringing in Wontumi. Who else? How would we have known that Wontumi is any way connected to? Because we are not going. The state is not into going for documents to check who has a site where. Because if you have a site and you're not going to mine, nobody will arrest you.
Right. So the gentleman said Wontumi brought him there to do mining.
Yes, to do mining.
Okay.
So that is what happened. Okay. Now, you see, there are a lot of things that have been said, and I will deal with this matter by answering the questions, some of the questions that have been put, the commentary that has been put out there. First and foremost, let's get this. I'll come to the assignment bit. But let us advert our minds to the charges that were proffered on the accused persons.
Right.
The charges never includes, please pay attention to this. The charges never includes this allegation of support services.
Yes.
It didn't include that.
Yes. I'm reading the statements of offenses.
Yes.
Count 1, count 2, it's up to 6.
And all has to do with mining.
Yes.
It never had anything to do with the support services,
Yes.
the reclamation.
Yes.
I'm saying this because, their lawyers went to court and they didn't raise anything. And you see, ask any lawyer, he will tell you that if you have a constitutional issue, you raise it very early in a criminal trial. That is what the law says. But you see, they went through the trial, completed the trial. It was the closing address stage that his lawyers, in their closing address, brought in this issue of constitutional whatever that the court held on, and then the matter be transferred to the Supreme Court for interpretation. That was when this whole thing came. Now I'm saying that it had nothing to do, because what they were seeking an interpretation on has everything to do with the support service, because they are saying that that part of the law in the Mining Act did not proffer a punishment to it, which is contrary to the constitutional provision of 19. This is their point. Okay. And so, because the law says that the offense must be defined and appropriate punishment also attached, it breached that particular provision of the Constitution. And so the judge defers it. First and foremost, the charges were on mining. It had nothing to do with the support service. Right. So for me, the judge was even magnanimous in dealing with the matter. He could have left it, because that wasn't what was before him. It was Wontumi that brought in that. I asked him to reclaim and not to mine. Yes. The man was also arrested for mining. And you see, the judge did some good work, even with regards to the constitutional bit, that the matter be taken to the Supreme Court. Let me say emphatically that the current position of the law with regards holding on, because we are, your listeners may not be lawyers, I don't want to be legalist too much, that's why I'm struggling with. Holding on and taking the matter to the Supreme Court for interpretation is the decision. First, we have the Mekankan case. We have in fact, the latest is the Jachikwesin case. People make mention of Zaneto. I'm surprised. Beyond Zaneto, the Jachikwesin case came. And the Jachikwesin case, the court said that was true. I think one of the judges, I'll get it for you. In fact, he said that we have to be careful with this tendency of everything putting out there as though the Supreme Court should always have the opportunity of interpreting everything. That is not how they work. That is why ex parte Akosa is there to guide us whether the matter should be interpreted at the Supreme Court or not, or be taken to the Supreme Court or not. And the court would have to determine, that the trial court would have to determine whether there is even a matter that the Supreme Court should interpret. It is for him. If you disagree with him, you go and appeal. But even more profound is the finding the judge got. And I agree with him 100%. The reason he declined, when there are two conflicting understanding, let's put it understanding of a particular provision, that is where you take it to the Supreme Court. But if you say that a punishment is not attached to a provision, you are questioning the Parliament's role in the way the law was couched. That is not interpretation. Do you understand? Okay. There are no conflicting, because you are saying, and I see where they are coming from, that the offense was stated, but a punishment was not attached to it, which, according to them, infringes on a constitutional provision of 19, Article 19. If you say so, then it means that you are asking for the law, whatever it is, you are questioning the way it was drafted. Okay. That is not a matter that the Constitution envisages that it be referred to the Supreme Court for interpretation. What are you interpreting? Do you understand? Okay. So the judge said, no, that is not what... You can always go to court for that, whatever that you think that... But in the course of the trial, what happened in the course, in fact, even with the written submission, we were done with the trial. But in the course of the trial, what came up in terms of conflicting meanings?
I get that.
You get it?
But Honorable, you see...
I want to do... There are a lot of...
No, this is important. And I'm trying to get some more understanding of why you believe that interpretation that the attaché and his people wanted to seek at the Supreme Court relative to whether there's a law on reclamation, which is the mining support.
No, there is, but it's attached punishment.
Good. Now, the reason why I'm asking a question on this is because, you see, Henry Oku says he was asked by Chairman Wontumi to go and mine, right?
Yes.
Chairman Wontumi says, no. I asked him to go and do reclamation. Now, don't you think that, yes, I get the point you're making, but don't you think that there should have been some clarity which should have been sought, which is that, look, even if you asked him to do reclamation, what are the legal processes you should have gone through? And if you didn't, what are the consequences? Don't you think that we should have arrived at that, even though, yes, if you read the statement of offenses would have been brought against them, there was nothing about reclamation.
No, but it's important.
But it came up.
No, but you see, it's important. And it is so significant that it's not part of the charges before the judge. It was your response. Then the judge said that even if that is the case, you still didn't have. But none of them was convicted on that charge, because there is even on that offense, because the offense was not on the charge sheet.
But the reason why this was important to him is that if the claim that Wontumi had asked him to go and mine is held constant, I mean, if that is accepted, that definitely was going to land them in trouble.
Yeah, but that's what happened.
So he needed the reclamation thing to be the
main... That is his case. That's his case. I get it, but that was his case. But yes, because of course,
because
you see, I know. You see, yes, to bring this in, and the judge. That's why I think the judge was so meticulous. He stood on course because he would not. Of course, he dealt with that aspect. That even if that is your claim, you still didn't even have the authority to do so.
Okay,
but then I'll still stick to them. So you understand? Now, let me also say this. Look. My brother Paul mentioned some, according to him, some questions people have been asking, whether the burden of proof was shifted. Look, it is law. And I can give a lot of decided cases. The burden does not stop with the prosecution. When it shifts. And he mentioned shifts.
Okay.
When the prosecution...
It was actually based on an article he read.
Well, no, but I have. When you look at the law, I mean, this is the evidence decree I have here.
No, I get the point. I'm just saying that he only raised it based on an article somebody had.
No problem. Yes. So I'll deal with it. No problem. So I have the evidence decree here, and it talks about the burden the burden of proof. 15, 16, they all deal with, I mean, the burden of persuasion in particular cases. He said, unless and until it is shifted. Unless and until it is shifted. So it tells you that at some point it shifts.
Okay.
When there is a claim on you, the state puts out, there was a claim that there was mining.
Right.
In fact, nobody has disputed that there was mining. Who did the mining and who ordered it is what is in dispute.
This is just interesting. When Chema Wuntu, so sorry, and I need to play the defense.
No.
Are you saying that when Chema Wuntumi was asked whether he had asked Henry Oku, who then subsequently employed Michael Jidu to do the thing, you mean when Chema Wuntumi was asked whether he had asked them to mine and whether the claim that they had made was true or not, you mean Chema Wuntumi said nothing?
No, Chema Wuntumi said that he actually asked him
to reclaim.
He sent him
not to mine.
Not to mine.
Okay.
But to reclaim. I'll come to those fine details.
Yes.
Please bear with
because
me.
of the shift of the
yes, but the shift here is that there was a claim. In fact, the state has been able to make a case that there's been some mining, whatever.
Yes.
I mean, illegal mining. Indeed, this happened. And the person who was doing the mining actually considered that I did mining, but on the authority of this person. At least the state has brought up somebody. And Wuntumi is saying that I know him. But what he went there to, of course, I mean, no judge expects somebody who has pleaded not guilty to say that I asked him to mine.
Right.
I mean, we are not kids.
I get it.
Do you understand?
I get it.
But that is why I will even come to the circumstantial evidence aspect.
Okay.
Where I've heard lawyers, and shocking, lawyers say that it is not law. Really? Let me give decided cases of, look, virtually about 90% of criminal cases in this country are, not just in this world, are resolved through circumstantial evidence.
Okay.
Because there are normally no direct pieces of evidence. Do you understand?
Okay.
So circumstantial evidence is law. We've said it. The Via versus Republic, the State versus Anam Fiajo, the Logan versus Jemfi versus the Republic, all of them. And the courts have always said that if there are no direct evidence, you have to resort to circumstantial. But the condition with circumstantial evidence is that it must lead to no other situation than the person who is involved being the one who perpetrated.
Must lead to one incontrovertible conclusion.
I don't want to.
But I want us to look at the shift off because
so
Paul
the shift is here.
Yes.
So the shift, he said, unless and until it is shifted, the party claiming that the person is guilty of crime of wrongdoing has the burden of persuasion on that issue.
Okay.
Unless and until it is shifted, the party claiming that the person did not exercise a requisite degree of care has the burden of persuasion and all that. Essentially, what it's saying is that, yes, so the state comes in, it is for the state to prove the case, to at least make its case.
Yes.
When the state alleges and puts at least, we arrested someone, and the person is saying that I was there on your authority. You have also said that, yes, he was there on my authority. But the only problem is that I didn't ask him to do at least about 80% of what has been said, we both agree.
Okay.
Because you actually know him and he is there on your authority.
That's fine.
Now, then the burden shifts to you. If you go to court and you say that I have a right to remain silent and all that, whatever has been said or would be said, if you have to raise some doubts. That's why the burden, otherwise, they will not call upon you to also say what you know.
Okay.
That's why we say the doubts that will be raised should be resolved in your favor. You have to raise doubts. So it's your duty. So if for anybody to say that the state did not do much, it was Wuntumi that was asked to do ABCD. No, the state had a case to make. It did make the case. In fact, they had corroborators, more especially the gentleman who claimed he was there on the authority of Chema Wuntumi and was actually mining. He also said a lot of things. The procurement of heavy duty machines, which he said was done by with the support of Wuntumi and other. So that prima facie, there is a case. Come and raise the doubts. That's when the burden shifts to you to also raise whatever you have to raise. So it's not true that in the entirety of the trial, it is only the state that has. If you decide to do that, he was not under any obligation to speak. Then you should have kept quiet so that the judge would come to the conclusion he came to. Now, with the issue of circumstantial evidence, I've explained that it is lawful. I'll be surprised for anybody, except if anybody has a contrary, most of the decisions. In fact, capital offenses like murder, A lot of time, it is the circumstantial evidence. Now, you see, it has also been said why we didn't prosecute the other gentleman, especially the. I've told you that he took advantage. Why? Wouldn't you also had the opportunity of taking advantage, just like the Exim case, to take advantage of this law? He did it. So if somebody took advantage, and also the state, of course, needed information, and the gentleman was the one who gave the information that I am innocent from the beginning. I'm here because the gentleman brought me here. In fact, you know there is no vicarious liability in crime that you say that somebody asked me to. So you are still guilty. And he saw it. He said, yes, I'm guilty. But the guilt, I want to cure it by taking advantage of the plea bargain. So it's not as if he went scot-free. Okay. It's not true. Let that point be made.
Right.
Now listen to this. You see,
and I want you to end on this point so that Paul can come in, so that you can can have a conversation.
Yes.
You spoke almost 30 minutes.
I have.
Yes.
You see, there is this claim that, won't you? Because I have raised the issue that, hey, if you claim you didn't actually sanction what happened, and the judge made mention of it, the gentleman was asked during cross-examination, what's his name? Ogunga.
Yes, Henry Ogun.
And whether won't you ever visited the site? Because if you ask somebody to do reclamation on your behalf, you should visit the site. Of course, Ghanaians who are not even lawyers can ask some questions. What was it Wontumi? He claimed he never mind there. So what was Wontumi's, what do you call it, his interest in reclaiming a site he didn't mind? He doesn't work with EPA. He's not a Minerals Commission officer. What was his interest? And how were they going to finance it? The gentleman said that I am not an agriculturist. I am a small-scale miner. So he never said, the gentleman didn't say that he was going there to plant coconuts. He was going there to mine. In any case, the judge asked questions that how are they going to finance it? Whose money? And the gentleman is a Father Christmas? No. The gentleman said no. But the claim has been made that he reported the matter when the mining was ongoing. There is nothing on record. Let me say this today to you. There is nothing on record to corroborate that claim. That Wontumi reported that there was galamseyers on the mine. I've heard this. I don't know whether you've not heard it. Because we have raised it.
The Regional Coordinating Council.
No, but the Regional Coordinating Council, it was the former regional minister who came to testify.
Oshedaku.
He came to, is that the name? Yes. He came to testify. I do not know how many people would go to a regional minister to report a galamsey. We are not kids. This is a politician. If somebody, and you knew that it was Ogun you asked there, assuming you didn't know he was mining, you had a site, you claim you had a lease. The lease, the site is being mined. You never stepped foot there. Yet, you claim that you went to report that some people were mining. When you knew you had asked somebody to be there, if he's doing something you've not asked him to do or asked him to do, you go and report him to the police, the law enforcement officer. You were even in government. You were a powerful man. You go and bring a politician to say that I report. And the judge said, these are all afterthoughts. Yes, because if indeed a report was even made, the gentleman came and he didn't even have a sheet of paper of a complaint he had lodged with the police that somebody was perpetrating a crime. And so, for me, you know, and let me end with that, at least for now, that what we had Act 703 to be our mining laws.
Yes.
And the Section 99 actually spelled out what should happen to you if you engage in illegal mining.
Okay.
And the Section 99(1) talked about Section 99(2) that a person without a license granted by a minister undertakes a small-scale mining operation contrary to subsection 1. We didn't have anything beyond this.
Okay.
But in 2019, we realized that we are not getting the big fishes. Because because there is no vicarious liability in crime, this one only catches up with those who, are holding the shovels and all that. So in 2019, under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, this 99 was repealed. Sorry, not repealed, was amended to include a B. So when I hear anybody say that Wontumi was not arrested based on galamsey or he's not done galamsey, I don't know what they mean by that. He was captured under B, which is that if you act, you instigate, you commands, you councils, which hitherto was not part of our laws in 2006. In 2019, we brought in this. Commands, councils, procure, solicit, promote. In any way, you are as guilty as the person doing it. In fact, where we are, I'm from a mining site. How many of these big men would you ever go and find in that pit there doing mining?
Okay.
So we should understand what Galamsey is, except one who doesn't understand it. So if you say he was not, why? Were we expecting to see him to be operate the excavator or to hold the shovels in doing the mining? Right. So he was captured under the same law. That amendment that was done in 2019. Right. It was not only it wasn't only the conviction or the sentence that was amended. We actually captured this particular provision in there. So it is not true that he was actually not convicted based on Galamsey. It was actually Galamsey, and he was found guilty of such. If he intends appealing, we don't have a problem. But in the meantime, that is the position of
I rather thought that because when you look at when you read the judgment, it says that everything has been summed up, or has been compressed into two main charges or offenses. One which is that I actually want to read it verbatim, but maybe whilst I'm looking at.
So whilst you are doing that, there is this issue of assignment, and I'm shocked at the argument that has been made about assignment. If you read the provision, the relevant provision in the Mining Act,
yes,
I think that should be 12. If you read that, 14, assignment of mineral rights.
Right.
A mineral right shall not in whole or in part be transferred. Now listen, shall not be transferred, assigned, mortgaged, or otherwise encumbered or dealt in a matter without the prior approval in writing of the minister. Okay. And this, according to our brothers, a strict assignment.
Yes.
And they want, or they have impressed upon us to go and look at the Lands Act. They claim assignment has been, because I don't know what definition they are referring to, but I've heard some lawyers from that side who said that we should go and read the Lands Act, and it defines assignment to be a document. The Lands Act, I have it here, 2019. There is nothing here.
Really?
That the definition is here. But let me read the definition to you and you will see. Okay. And I'll come to this particular provision. A lot has been said. I don't know where it came from. That's 281. That's the Land Act 2020, Act 1036. It defines assignment here.
Okay.
It says that's interpretation, 281. It says assignment means the transfer of the unexpired portion of a term. Of a term, that's one. Or interest created by a lease.
Okay.
Where did he say it ought to be written? Where did he say it ought necessarily to be written?
Or documented.
And even with that, even if it had said it ought to be written here, it would still not have had any impact on the Mining Act, because this is not a Universal Act. This is not a constitution.
Okay.
It doesn't have. This is a different act, Mining Act, separate from the Lands Act. So you can't go and import. Even here, it's not there. But even if it's here, you can't go and import to a different act, because the processes in acquiring the said assignment is not the same. In any case, assignment is English, unless it is used in any law, legal statute, where it is the reason that when they use it in the statute, they define it.
Okay.
So, if you read the Minerals and Mining Act, it didn't define assignment here, never. Because the assignment used here is used loosely. That if you transfer, that's why it didn't just say assignment. So, it is not the Lands Act assignment they are referring to. In any case, the Lands Act didn't even define assignment to be a written document.
Okay.
So, I don't know where this thing is coming from, that because there is no assignment properly so and they refer to the Lands Act. I have it here. Let anybody come through and show me where it is.
All right. So, Paul, the charge sheet contains two main offenses: assignment of mineral rights without approval, and then purposely facilitating an unlicensed mining operation. After listening to everything he said, and hopefully after reading the judgment, what are your thoughts?
Well, I listened to him carefully.
All right.
I just like to draw back on the article.
Okay.
The point about the so-called burden shifting.
Yes, the burden shifting, yes.
Yeah, and he makes a point about the he makes a point about the
Reading from
burden
the Evidence
shift
Act.
and that the burden shifts sometimes. Yes,
right.
The burden shifts sometimes, but there are perceived specific ways in which the burden shifts.
Okay.
And I just want to read from the article first before I give you the research on the English cases and how this whole burden shift comes in. First of all, in the article, the guy starts with the case of Republic and Krenzel. I don't know whether Honorable is aware of, but it's a judgment by Pega J, which he talks about circumstantial evidence and the extent to which you can use it, and how, as he said, circumstantial evidence must lead you only to one conclusion.
Okay.
This guy talks about, I'm just trying to get there. So he says here, it says, the burden shifting passage makes me even less comfortable. This, he said, is probably the most troubling part of the judgment for me.
Okay.
After discussing Wuntumi's reclamation explanation, the court notes that Henry rejected that version and then states as follows. So Wuntumi had a version and Henry rejects it, and the court reports that in the judgment. And it says as follows, quoting the judge, says that, having rejected the allegation, the burden rests on the first accused, which is Wuntumi, to lead evidence on the probabilities to show that PW2 had agreed to the alleged arrangement, unquote. So Wuntumi says something about an arrangement they had, which has to do essentially with the planting of coconut trees. Yes. And the guy denies that. And this writer is quoting the judge at the point where the guy denies it. And the judge is saying that at that stage, the burden has shifted to Wuntumi to show that indeed they had that agreement. Perhaps he's looking for a paper, a document, or something like that. So the writer continues. The court then concludes that no such evidence was led. That Wuntumi did not lead any evidence to convince the court that that arrangement that the Okun was doubting was real. So they take the story that that arrangement Wuntumi is suggesting is not correct. They take Okun's rejection of it. He goes on. But surely, he says, that raises the fundamental question. Why should Wuntumi have to establish his explanation on probabilities? Was it not enough for his explanation to raise a reasonable doubt as to whether he authorized mining, leaving the ultimate burden on the prosecution to displace that reasonable possibility beyond reasonable doubt? He continues, count 4, he says, troubles me even more. For purposeful facilitation, the court itself identifies an essential ingredient as presence of purpose, but the accused person abetted the contravention purposely for the breaching of the law. So the accused person, Wuntumi, abetted the mining, and he abetted, so he supported the mining, let me say. He supported the mining, and he encouraged the mining, or he perhaps even directed it. And he did all that because he, Wuntumi, was breaching the law. So let me go on. Yet, the writer says, much of what is subsequently relied upon to establish that purpose sounds to me at least closer to negligence or perhaps a failure to exercise proper oversight. He did not, this is the case against Wuntumi, he did not verify Henry Okum's competence. That came up in the court. He did not verify it. Because they asked him that, is Henry Okum competent to plant coconut trees? He says, I don't know. Okay, so he did not verify it. 2, Wuntumi failed to supervise, and Honorable said that he didn't show up there. The court also found that. 3, he never visited the sites. Okay, that's also on the court's record. And then illegal mining was prevalent. It is also based on Okun's testimony. There was illegal mining there. And then the last one is that he knew, or that he ought to have known, that is Wuntumi, knew that mining was going on over there, illegal mining was going on over there, or that he ought to have known. The writer continues. He says, but ought to have known is materially different from purposely facilitating.
Yeah.
That's what he says. And that is the critical part of the judgment that he's criticizing. That somebody ought to have known something. It's not the same as he purposely facilitated it for the purpose of a criminal conviction, which has to be established at a certain high standard of proof. He goes on. If Parliament had criminalized purposeful facilitation, I struggle with establishing that mental element beyond reasonable doubt, substantially by reference to what the accused ought to have known, ought to have done, or ought to have known, rather than what the prosecution proved that he knew and intended. So he's talking about the criminal process and what the work of the prosecution is. Wuntumi ought to have known should not be sufficient to convict him. The prosecution must, he says, show that he actually knew and that he intended it. So, for instance, Okun calls him and says that, Chairman, today we got X number of gold, I'm sending it to you. He receives it. And then he tells him that, look, tomorrow bring me more. This your 1 kilogram is too small. Tomorrow bring me more. You have something like that. Then it means Wontumi actually knew and that he also intended it. And that was absent from the process. He goes on to say, so I come back to the fundamental criminal law question. Was the accused required to prove, even on probabilities, that his explanation was true? Or was it sufficient for that explanation merely to raise a reasonable doubt which the prosecution had to then displace beyond reasonable doubt? What he's saying is that Wontumi's confessions in the court, without the actual, and this ought to have known, should have then gotten the court to put the burden on the prosecution that what Wontumi has said raises doubt, and that's all Wontumi needed to do, to raise doubt. And once doubt was raised, then the prosecution must come in very strong, beyond reasonable doubt, and show Wontumi that you, Nchubu Isiako, you did this and this and this and this on that day. It's not about you ought to have known. It's not about that you were aware. You actually knew. You intended it. And that's where the abatement is then substantiated. He goes on to say that if I'm reading the judgment correctly, this seems to me to raise rather significant questions about the application of circumstantial evidence, the burden of proof, the mens rea required for purposeful facilitation in criminal proceedings. A person cannot be convicted of a criminal offense, unless it is established beyond reasonable doubt that he had a mental element to perform it, that he intended it, and that has to be proven. If you come to the other part of the burden of proof, you will see here that there's in England. Okay, in England, there's a case of Wilmington and DPP, as you can Google it. And it affirmed that the burden rests with the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. The burden, however, shifts to the defendant, the accused person, when the accused raises statutory defense. So there are specific ways codified in England and applied by the common law where the burden shifts. Yes, it does, but it shifts on specific purposes. It doesn't shift on other parts of the thing. Now, these are the purposes. For instance, the accused pleads insanity. Like, oh, I'm insane. You, the accused person, you say you are insane. You have to bring a document, or your lawyers must supply something, a test from the psychiatric hospital, to show that you are insane. You cannot just come to the court and plead, because you are pleading a defense. For instance, you are pleading immunity. You say that you are immune from the process. You are a diplomat, blah, blah, blah. You're immune from the process. You have to show it. Now, it goes on. In the absence of a statutory defense, the burden rests on the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Also, if one claims insanity, one must prove it in a certain way that the English courts define it. Okay, so it says also if the offense involves possession of like a gun, one must prove that he had lawful authority to possess the gun or other thing that he did not, or that he did not know the value. So if you are, police come and I'm holding a gun, you are holding a gun. There's video evidence, there's everything. That's at that stage. The burden is on me to show that I'm able to hold a gun. In fact, if you look at the offense for drug trafficking in Ghana, if you look at the Criminal Offences Act, you will see that it says that when people are arrested, what they ask them is that show that you had the Ministry of Health permission to import, because you can have the Ministry of Health. So if the thing is found with you, the burden is now on you. You can't say that cocaine has been found on you in the airport and that the prosecution should prove beyond reasonable doubt. You have to show that you had, because the circumstance under which you can hold cocaine in Ghana is that you had the Ministry of Health's permission to import for hospitals. So if you are holding cocaine, that should be the only way in which you can hold cocaine properly. But if they find that you don't have it, then you have to show. So the shifting of the burden is not a wholesale shifting of the burden, or it is not that the burden shifts at the behest of the courts and the judge or the prosecution. No, the burden shifts in specific instances. The question is, as the writer said, in this process where the burden was shifted on Wontumi, to show that what he was saying was correct, that is the issue that is being raised. He ought not to show as an accused person in the jurisprudence of the common law that what he is saying is correct. No, he only has to raise doubts in what the prosecution is saying. Then the prosecution must now come full throttle to show that 100% what we are saying as a prosecution is correct. And that is why the prosecution is given a lot of leeway. The prosecution is given the powers of arrest. The prosecution is given the powers of search. The prosecution is given the powers of collect your phone, collect your this, collect your that, so that it will help them gather their evidence, because it's not very simple. You can't go to the court and use what is in people's thoughts imaginations to prosecute. You must be real in prosecuting and to deliver it beyond reasonable doubt. The concern of some of these lawyers is that that was not really done as far as this case is concerned. That really is a conversation.
Okay. But Paul, just a number of questions. And we're still talking about the shift of burden of proof. Now, in having this conversation, we ought to situate in this right context. One, at least we can all agree that one to me says, I know him. That's it. There is no debate about it. It's I know the guy. Right? That's number one. Number two. But it says, I asked him to go and undertake a reclamation exercise. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, the second thing is that he, Wontumi, is not able to prove to the court that the guy actually has the expertise or the professional expertise to undertake a reclamation exercise. He's not able to prove that. But he says, I asked him to go and reclamation. He's not able to even prove to the court that, yes, this is the document that shows that I asked him to go and do reclamation. But never mind. He says, ask him to go and do reclamation. That is number two. Number three, how do you ask somebody to go and do a reclamation exercise and not give the person a funnel, a dime, to go and do the job? When you and I know, I mean, we may not be experts in mining, but at least as casual readers and observers of what happens in the mining industry, we know that mining, it is very, very expensive to do a reclamation exercise. You give the guy the job, you don't give him a penny, right? And now the court then ask you, how were you expecting the guy to fund the thing? There's no answer. The guy says, oh, I have the answer. In fact, I told him that I will go and mine and use the process of the mine to finance the reclamation exercise. Now, when all of these things come up in court, how then does it put Wontumi in the position to sort of cast any doubt in what the gentleman is saying? Do you get the point I'm trying to make?
Yes, I get it.
So if this issues that came up in court, don't you think that would have put Wontumi in a difficult position to say that, look, what the gentleman is saying is not true, and that take what I am saying, as against if he has said I don't know him, then that's the burden they would then shift on Henry and Michael J. to say, oh, I know him, then they would have to prove. Two, if he has said I didn't tell him to go and do anything on my land, so I don't know what he was even doing there. I agree with the point you made earlier about ought to have known, which comes to wisdom, discretion, and so on. It's not the same as I actually facilitated it. Point. It's a fair point. It's a very valid point, and you're absolutely right. And that's where the author of that article is coming from. But back to my question that one, if you can establish that you know him too, you can also establish that you asked him to go there, to your land, to go and do something there. What is in contention? With the bone of contention is what exactly did you ask him to? Then it becomes his word against that of Chemamuntu. Wontumi said, I asked him to go and reclaim. He says, no, he asked me to go and do mining. But back to the question I asked that, if you asked him to go and do the reclamation exercise, how were you expecting to do it when you have not even given a password for him to go and do that reclamation exercise? Do you get the point I'm trying to make?
I get it. The article answers it. But just to answer your point very briefly and basically, that is the whole essence of proof beyond reasonable doubt.
Right.
So the guy went on and they all agreed that he said I should do reclamation.
Yes.
Both of them agree on that. What they don't agree on is that they were also to do galamsey mining.
Yes.
They don't agree on
mining.
That.
Yes.
Okay. Now the guy's point, which is a common sense point, is that if you ask me to go and do something that costs money and you didn't give me money, it means he's inferring.
Yes, inference.
We are all inferring.
Yes.
That's where we fail the standard of beyond reasonable doubt. You cannot infer.
Right.
No court should allow anyone to infer. So the set of facts. Go on my land. Yes, go. I know you. Go on my land. Go on my land. Go and do reclamation. Yes, reclamation you said. But how was I going to pay?
Yes.
So it means because you didn't show me how to pay or you didn't give me money, you knew that I would do galamsey. This is how somebody's been convicted for 20 years. This is the story. Where is the beyond reasonable doubt? The beyond reasonable doubt is now an inference. Now listen to what the guy writes on this matter that you just raised. He said that, consider the circumstances. Henry Okun is a small-scale miner. Reclamation cost money. Wontumi apparently did not pay him for it.
Yes.
Henry Okun mined and says he funded the reclamation from the mining proceeds.
Yes.
Okay. Wontumi introduced him to an excavator supplier. He says that as well. Wontumi did not investigate his reclamation credentials. That also is from the court. Wontumi did not supervise the site. That also is from the court. And Wontumi sought a RECSEC, that's the Ashanti Regional Security Council. He sought RECSEC assistance in relation to Henry Okun's operations. Okay, so he says these are all facts that came out. That's the point you're making. He continues and says that.
But you heard about the RECSEC matter, where he says there's no documentary proof because this is a police matter.
No, the RECSEC is against Wontumi. The RECSEC is against it. I don't know how you're saying it.
No.
The argument is being made that Wontumi knew so much about Henry Okun's operations that he actually asked RECSEC to intervene, to go and help him. RECSEC is a security people.
No, that's not understand. And the regional minister is the chairman of RECSEC.
No, but there are two things that happen here. According to
but can I finish this one?
One is there.
Yeah, the RECSEC matter. Okay.
So, but you can take the RECSEC out and all the points are valid. Let me go. Yes. It says those facts make the prosecution's case plausible, perhaps even highly probable.
Okay.
But now listen to this. But do they make the alternative explanation unreasonable? What is the alternative explanation? It is this. What about the alternative explanation? Wontumi authorized reclamation. Henry Okun, being a minor and having obtained access to the concession, took advantage of that access and illegally mined for his own benefit without Wontumi's authority. I do not think he's ended the Wontumi scenario. I do not think the judgment convincingly demonstrates that this is incapable of being reasonably true. So this is where the beyond reasonable doubt is. So everything I said about Henry Okun, as he said, it makes the prosecution's case highly probable. But that has not ended the 100%. There is something else. And so you have this this situation of the guy is a miner. He gets opportunity to have access to the thing. Wontumi says, go and mine, go and do reclamation. He looks at the situation and says that, okay, what kind of land do I have in Samaboy? You tell him the land. He already begins to assess what potential galamsey can be done. He doesn't voice it out, and they do that. He doesn't tell you, okay, you give me the reclamation, I'll do it. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, bye-bye. Chairman doesn't say, I'll give you money. He doesn't ask Chairman anything. In his mind, we are going to galamsey. He calls another person, say, Charlie, we have the thing, let's go and do galamsey and do his reclamation for him and move on. Except the court was to demonstrate that Wontumi participated and benefited from those proceeds of the galamsey, because obviously there are proceeds of the galamsey that that has stayed with the guy. He's profited from it. Yes. He probably didn't use all for the reclamation. The fact of the matter is that reclamation happened, and the fact of the matter is that galamsey also happened. The fact of the matter is that Wontumi never stepped there. The fact of the matter is that Henry Okun says, I performed the galamsey, but I did it because Wontumi said I should do it. Did he give some of the proceeds to Wontumi? The court doesn't talk about that. The answer is actually no. So what was Wontumi's benefit to say that go on my land, do galamsey, and go and do reclamation?
So you're saying that the prosecution's job would have been the evidence would have been weightier, because now we're talking substantial evidence. The evidence would have been weightier if the prosecution was able to establish with beyond reasonable doubt that Wontumi actually personally benefited from the proceeds of the galamsey. Paul, that's the point you're making.
Yes.
He was able to establish that, look, we have evidence that when a guy mines a thing, he gives you the gold.
Yes.
But quite clearly, I think that, what we don't know is whether that aspect was actually investigated. But back to the issue I raised, and I'm going to take a break and come back. Paul, there's also an element of this so-called circumstantial evidence. Because I'm saying because I'm not a court. That's what the court said. The fact that the guy says, I'm a small-scale miner, doesn't that ring a bell? He didn't say, I'm a support services renderer. He says, I'm a small-scale miner. Doesn't that in itself destroy everything that, Wontumi has said? That you engage somebody who is a small-scale miner.
Yes.
Of course, I don't know whether Wontumi feigned ignorance or he said, yes, I know he's a small-scale man. I'm yet to recall.
Based on what has happened in the court, I think he knew that he was a small-scale
miner. So good. Now, if you know the guy is a small-scale miner, how do you engage a small-scale miner to do a reclamation, project? That's my question to you. We need to take a break.
This question would have been relevant if the reclamation wasn't done. And Wontumi is alleging that I asked him to go and do reclamation. I didn't say he should do galamsey.
No.
And then there's no reclamation.
No.
This question would have been relevant. How do you pick a small-scale miner?
No, Paul.
You are lying. You didn't ask him to do reclamation.
Paul, what the guy did, post facto, it's not really the matter in issue. The matter in issue for me is that does this guy have the professional expertise and competence?
But that is settled in the question that they asked. That did you check whether he has expertise?
He said he checked.
Yes.
But
That's settled there.
How then?
And you are saying that automatically then suggests that the invitation for Okun to go onto the land was actually to do galamsey. That's the point.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
And I'm saying that point will be valid if no reclamation occurred. If there was no reclamation at all, then that point will be valid. And Utumi comes and says, no, I asked him to go and do reclamation. You go to the land, there's no reclamation. And then it's only galamsey.
It's only galamsey.
The guy is a galamseer.
Okay.
You told him to go on your land.
Okay.
Then you are telling the court that you asked him to do reclamation.
Right.
Where is the reclamation?
I can raise...
But the fact that the reclamation happened, that changes the whole thing. The standard of proof is very important.
The other issue is this, that... Okay. I'm under some pressure to go and break. You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro. I have a lot of questions, so please stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
No matter how many noises are made, the law is the law.
SSO, and the law is the law is the law. Those who said, and the law is the law, did not complete the sentence. The law is the law is the law. SSO, and the law is the law is the law.
Finding my dream apartment in just 2 days was a breeze with 7terragh.com. Looking for your next home, the perfect piece of land, or the best commercial property for your business? Are you worried about sending money home for property and finding nothing when you return? Well, worry no more. 7terragh.com is just a platform to find prime lands, perfect properties, or vibrant real estate development at the click of a button. 7terragh.com is your go-to property listing platform that allows you to register, list, rent, buy or sell, and connect with correct agents. With our AI-powered smart search, personalized dashboards, verified agent connection, and interactive property maps, all your property needs have been made easier. Check us out on 7terragh.com or contact us on 0302-998-246 or 0561 032 252. 7terragh.com, powered by MNC Properties.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600 360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
As the days come and go, there's always shit. Let colleagues explore all the planetary bodies. Our mission is in Uranus to treat hemorrhoids, anal fistula, anal fissure, anal incontinence, hydradenitis suppurativa, using laser ligature for pain-free and speedy recovery. On Uranus Street, Accra, is Main Tuber Hospital and Coloproctology Center. Trust Uranus with us and we will delight you. Visit Main Tuber Hospital today or call us on 0244 581 541.
Metro TV, Original TV, Original FM, and Metro Digital, under the auspices of the Office of the Chief of Staff, proudly present the Clean Conference 2026 under the theme Assessing Ghana's Progress Towards UN SDGs Agenda 2030. SDG 6, Clean Water and Sanitation, SDG 7, Clean Energy, and SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. Friday, 21st August 2026, 9 a.m. at the City Conference Hall, University of Ghana, Legon, Accra. With just 4 years to achieve the UN SDGs 2030, how far has Ghana come? The answers begin with one national conversation, the Metro and Original Sanitation Conference, with the Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra. The Clean Conference, bringing together government, development partners, traditional authorities, industry players, academia, civil society, young people, and all Ghanaians. Change is not only in conference rooms, so there will be a cleanup exercise on Saturday, 22nd August 2026, also led by the Chief of Staff. Join thousands of volunteers for this massive cleanup exercise across the major streets of Accra. Metro Clean Conference, Wahuni Diema on Maini Tumpo.
Ghana, Greater Accra, Gamashi. Are you ready for the biggest festival carnival in Ghana? Is the Gahomor Carnival 2026. Starting from Thursday 6th to Sunday 9th of August 2026. The heartbeat of Ghana will echo from Jamestown Manchabola, flowing through the historic Atanos High Street back to Lighthouse. Witness and experience 4 unforgettable days, 1 historic destination. Gamashi, 6th August, Red Thursday, So Be. The legendary homecoming procession, 7th August, White Friday, Yeah Yeah Yeah. Dressed in white and experience the Twin Festival, culture, tradition, and music. Saturday, 8th August, Homowa Red Saturday. The grand climax. Join thousands in the sea of red and display of royalty as Galhashi comes alive with spectacular sprinkling of popoi, followed by a mega concert featuring Ghana's biggest music stars. Sunday, Owala. Come dressed in white. A day of thanksgiving, reconciliation, and a powerful gospel concert to crown Homowa, celebrating 200 years of Katamanso. Date 6th to 9th August. Venue Jamestown Manchabona. Crowd is calling. Gamashi is waiting. Don't just hear it. Come and live it. For vendorship slots, call.
Main Media Partners. Media Partners.
Madam, I'm looking for Abena.
Abena, there's someone looking for you.
Madam, please, where's Abena?
Abena, yes, ma'am. Is this who you are looking for?
Madam, please get me Abena. Please.
Della, Abena, bra.
Oh, Abena. If it's not Abena rice, we can't eat any other.
Abena rice. Eniji nkwa. FDA ajejade nkratso yatsum.
All right, you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. I'm still here with Mr. Paul Adomotri. He's the host of Good Evening Ghana. He's a political historian and also a social commentator. Also here with us is Bernard Bediako Bedo, who is MP for Akutia, a private legal practitioner as well. So let me come back to you. So quick responses. Let's just do 5 minutes on this so we can move to some other issues.
Let's understand more things. Let's understand what circumstantial evidence is before we make some comments.
Okay.
Circumstantial evidence is not direct evidence. And the courts have also often, all the time, said that proof beyond reasonable doubt is not proof beyond all doubt.
Yes.
That point has been made.
Okay.
And the standard, my brother Paul wants to take the judiciary, then nobody will ever be convicted. in this country. So what is circumstantial evidence? The Court of Appeal explained circumstantial evidence, and the judge, essentially reproduced it in DR versus the Republic. And this is what, it's important that your viewers hear this.
Okay.
Circumstantial evidence that's DR versus the Republic, and that's 1987, 1988. Circumstantial evidence was evidence of surrounding circumstances which by undesigned coincidence was capable of proving a proposition with the accuracy of mathematics. This is a criminal trial, and yet this is the standard. In criminal cases, it was sometimes not possible to prove the crime charged by direct or positive evidence of persons present at the time the crime was committed. So where the testimony of, this is the Court of Appeal speaking,
yes,
where the testimony of eyewitnesses was not available, the jury was entitled and indeed permitted to infer from those facts, from those facts which the prosecution had proved. Other facts necessary either to complete the elements of guilt or establish innocence. However, before drawing the inference of the guilt of an accused from circumstantial evidence, it was important to make sure that there was no other coexisting circumstance, it's not your words, circumstance, which would destroy or weaken the inference. Let me just apply it here. So, as you rightly said, it is not for nothing that when there is an arrest of or accused person of 4 or 3, usually, I'm not saying it may not be good, but usually they are all supposed to be coached together. But because the moment anyone says anything against the other or any of you, it goes to hurt all of you. Because if you were all found in a room and yet you are all saying different things as to the reason you were in the room, then it presupposes that all of you know something that we all don't know. Do you understand? So if the court is saying that we must be sure, or the court must be sure that the inference, there is no coexisting circumstance that could weaken the inference. We were not there. You and I were not there. You actually said you know the gentleman. The gentleman was there on your authority. You said, yes, it's true. He was there on my authority. The essence of a circumstantial evidence is to find out whether what you are saying actually could or would be the truth as compared to what another person is saying. So you make certain inferences. So whatever happened, the judge admitted that because there was no, and you see, proof, evidence is not just paper. It could be calling a witness. That in all this, I even had a meeting with him here, and we said this, Wontumi did not produce a single person who knew about whatever arrangement they had. The fact that they didn't exist does not mean that actually nothing happened, because it had been. And again, let me
the other part who didn't put, the other guys who didn't produce any other person.
No, they were. The gentleman was arrested for an offense. Let's get it. He wasn't just a witness. Please, that's the difference. The gentleman was arrested, and he said, "I am here because of this person." That is a way. There is some weight that we put. It's not just anybody. Then he was arrested during the act, and he said, "I'm here," and you are saying, "Yes, I know him. I took him there." The only departure is what you claim you made. So the judge will evaluate whatever you are putting across, whether it's actually the case. That's where circumstantial evidence comes in, because none of you is able to, because the only contention is what he may have done there. That's the galamsey, which is the fact that it was done. There is no dispute. Who did it, and it's also known that the gentleman.
He also mentions that reclamation was also done.
No, but the reclamation that is done, the judge said, even if that is the case, you didn't even have the permission and the law to do it. But the judge smartly came to the offenses that is before him. So nobody was, and again, let me put it, nobody was convicted. I've heard some grounds of appeal. If you take I can confidently say, if your grounds of appeal is under the law of reclamation, you lose, because nobody was convicted under that crime.
Okay.
The crime is on illegal mining and facilitating. Now let me read, because he said something about the facilitating. I don't know which article he's reading, and unfortunately the gentleman has not quoted the decision for me. I will deal with the decision where the court dealt with the facilitation, when the court was concluded all his findings on the counts. That's on count 4, purposely facilitating an unlicensed mining. The court never said ought to know. I don't know where he got it from. Let me read to you. This court has found
to know that he was doing galaxy.
Where did the court say it? That's the question I'm asking. I have the judgment here. And the judgment per 56. So please, let's go with the judgment. On count 4, purposely facilitating an unlicensed mining. That's what you refer to. Let's listen to what the court said. This court has found that PW2's mining and reclamation activities on the concession contravened. It didn't say you ought to know. Contravened 14.1 and section 59 of Act 703. That no penalty is separately specified in the Act for a contravention of section 59. That first accused facilitated PW1 and PW2's contravention by permitting them onto the site, introducing PW2 as a supplier of excavators, and that was also made. Wontumi admitted that yes, he introduced him to him, but he said he never paid a dime. He considered a lot. You introduce somebody for do we use excavators to plant coconut? Advocates in this country. Even reclamation, bulldozers are used, not excavators. You are not saying.
So that even if they didn't mine and it was only reclamation day,
no, but they mine. That's a fact.
No, hold on. From what you are reading, it looks like even if they didn't mine, it's still an offense to take him there without the minister's permission.
Mine. That has been made.
No, I'm saying something.
No,
even if they didn't mine,
the assumption doesn't
it looks like
I'm reading. So you
from what you are reading.
No, I'm not done. Please. Introducing PW2. Okay, so let me read it well for you. Maybe you didn't get. This court has found that PW2's mining and reclamation activities on the concession, because both were found.
Yes.
On the concession contravened section 41.
That's what I'm saying. So reclamation contravenes.
Yes.
Mining also contravenes.
Yeah, no, but different laws.
Yeah, I get that.
Yes.
But the reclamation contravenes.
Yes.
So that even if there is no mining,
why are you saying no mining?
No, you don't seem to get it.
I get it, but the offense, no.
It must be together.
No, it necessarily not. But I'm saying that.
So one can be prosecuted for taking somebody onto your land without the minister's license. Whether it's for reclamation or whether it's for mining. If I let you on my land without the minister's license, the offense has been created.
Yes, different offenses. Well, because you see that
an offense has been created.
Yes.
If I say go onto my land, I don't have the minister's permission to take you on my land.
If it's a concession,
but I say go and reclaim land.
Yes. That's still an offense.
It's still an offense.
But
the offense is grounded because it was without the minister's permission.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. So, but in this case, because in that case, the position of Wuntumi's lawyer is that the offense is defined, but no punishment attached with the reclamation. Yeah. So the judge did, and I'm saying that the judge didn't convict on reclamation.
But was that correct law?
What?
That the reclamation has no offense attached to it?
It is not, but the judge dealt with it.
And the judge said it's bad law?
No, the judge didn't. He gave and he did some justice to it. We don't have time. I'll show you where he said that. But you see, for me, the fact that nobody was convicted on reclamation is the point I'm making. But let me even finish reading what the judge said. I beg. Introducing PW, he gave me 2 minutes of his time. Introducing PW2, a supply of excavators, and enlisting the Western Regional Security Council to protect PW2's operations. In fact, that's what happened. Because the gentleman said that Wontumi actually applied and got permission from the Western Regional Security Council to protect him, to reclaim. I mean, that's where circumstantial evidence comes in. The judge ought to analyze, really, did you need the Western Regional Security Council's protection to reclaim a land?
Okay.
So obviously, you are not telling the truth. And that is what the Gia versus Admire, all the circumstantial evidence points to. Okay. Anybody that comes to court and says, I'm not guilty, certainly, even if he did it, he will lie.
All right.
I'm not saying this is what happened. Okay. So it is for the judge to evaluate what you have put there and put the probative value on the pieces of evidence. How do you go to court and say, I know him, I took him there, but what he was doing, I didn't, and you didn't show a single report you made to the police concerning his operations there.
All right. Let me do this quickly. Let me just do.
There's one last matter before we go to this the TikTok matter.
Okay.
The other matter, Honorable, that people are considering is that this gentleman, the PW1,
yes,
was aware that his freedom was based on the extent to which he can speak.
Yes.
And that creates a problem because self-preservation is the first for every human being. If I know that I have to go and say A and I will be free and Wontumi will go and A is correct, I may add B and C and D. And so that witness should have been looked at, and his statements taken almost hook, line, and sinker is problematic for some lawyers.
You see, but I've told you, I've dealt with them.
That when he was arrested,
he said it. He didn't even know.
Everything he said in court, he wrote it.
Yes.
Even before an opportunity was given for him to
is it, brother? The point is that
so that when he was arrested, he was not interested in defending himself.
No.
Okay. He was interested in giving the information so that
no, because according to
so that he will be jailed.
Well,
no,
that's what it means.
No, hold on.
If you are arrested and you are telling me that when he was arrested,
let me answer.
When he was arrested, he said everything. He knew that he was.
No, he didn't know because he thought he was actually within the law. Somebody has a license, a lease, and ask you to go and mine in his name. Okay. So he thought
he believed that in 2020, when was he arrested? 2025.
Yes.
He believed that in 2025, with all what had happened in Ghana, he was doing galamsey and it was lawful.
Let's do law.
No, I'm saying that he didn't even know he was doing galamsey.
No, he didn't know. He said yes. He said I'm mining and I'm here on the authority of the lease holder.
So you're saying that the PW guy who was mining, he didn't know that what he was doing was wrong.
No, he was actually mining. He said he's a small scale
in Ghana. He's already a small scale miner.
Why don't we have people who are legally mining? No, don't bring in that aspect because there is a change of government. If you are doing something like
I'm not talking about change of government. You don't seem to get me. Okay. I'm not talking about change of government at all. I'm talking about the disposition. Okay. So forget about 2025. Let's call it 2024 so that you'll be satisfied that there's no change of government. In June 2024, a miner, one who claims that he's a miner, is found in a mining concession mining in June 2024 with all what had happened in Ghana since 2019, and he believes that what he's doing is right. He's doing galamsey.
So let me ask you.
He believes what he's doing is right only because the concessionaire allowed him to.
Yes, and there's no doubt about
by 2024, it had become obvious with the work of the Ghana Journalists Association, Ken Ashibe's committee that had gone around everywhere. It had become obvious that kind of mining is illegal. It's galamsey. The use and fine equipment had been seized. But I mean, he knows more. If it is true that this guy was not aware at that time that what he was doing was illegal, then he must be very ignorant, and that's okay. Perhaps that is to the benefit of the prosecution, but I don't know how.
So, but that's what he said initially.
That is what led to all this. It's mining. When they see soldiers coming, they run away all the time. That they are mining, and then
he wasn't lucky. He couldn't have run away.
Well, hold on. I'm saying that they know that what they are doing is wrong.
Thought he was
that is why when they see soldiers, they run.
So he didn't run. He was arrested.
He was there,
and then when
he told them what he's doing. Yes. On the authority, yes, because the license holder is Chairman Wunzumi concession.
Did he ask you to come and mine?
Yes.
He asked me to come and mine.
When the galamsey matter became political, okay, there was a lot of political showboating.
Yes.
We had the MPP Western Regional guy stand on platform and say that they are not going to stop the miners today and will stop the miners tomorrow because it was as a result of this galamsey process that MPP lost parliamentary seats in 2020. We had heard Joseph Yamin also speak similarly on the other side. So there's a lot of political showboating with the mining.
Yes.
That does not take... The fact that emphasizes the fact that they all know that what they are doing is wrong. But they are doing it on political basis. That's what is happening. So for us to hear that this gentleman was mining and all he thought was required was a genuine concession.
But those guys, those chaps who made those comments, were not saying that we will do illegal mining. They would have been arrested.
No,
they said we will mine today, we will mine tomorrow.
Pay 25 for
the legal or illegal mining, we don't know. But they said they will mine today and mine tomorrow.
By the time the process was over, by the time Akufo-Addo banned the mining in 2017 and restored it in 2018, by the time the restoration came, many people knew that about 70% of the mining that had been happening, which we call small-scale mining, was illegal. And people were educated on that. But we are talking about 2024 here,
no, 3-4 years later. The judgment, page 35, during cross-examination, this is what PW2 said. It says sometime in September 2024, so you can understand him. He is telling his story. I discovered the mining site located in Samraboy. Upon conducting a search, this is not galamsey, at the Minerals Commission, I was informed that the area in question was a registered concession standing in the name of A3, which is Akonta Mining. Following this confirmation, I contacted A1 to discuss the possibility of mining on the unmined portions within the said concession. So this is a person who thinks he did the right thing because he went to the Minerals Commission and realized that the thing belongs to you. He's a small scale miner. You've done the large scale. I want to do the intem. When you go to there, that's the vocabulary they use. So he came to you and then told you that I want to go and do the intem. You've done the big one. Then they had a certain gentleman's agreement that go and do it and use the proceeds, part of the proceeds to cover it. This rather makes sense to me. Because how do you ask somebody to go and reclaim and then a small scale miner to use which money? And who paid for the excavators? And excavators to do reclamation when indeed they should be bulldozers. You took them there and then you claim the site belonged to you and you never stepped foot there. You in fact procured the security of the Western Regional Security Council to protect him, to do reclamation. So it didn't make sense.
Okay.
With the greatest respect. That is why circumstantial evidence says that at least whatever has been put out there, if there is no direct evidence, should lead to a certain conclusion. Inference is allowed under circumstantial evidence, but it should lead to a certain conclusion that it is the person we are claiming he did whatever is the one actually that did it.
I see. So you don't agree with Paul when he says that once you've arrested him and he knows, and once you've arrested him and he knows that there's a possibility he may be prosecuted, it then compromises. At
the time of his arrest, he didn't even know where the matter would get to, but he said what he knew. You see, but this issue of, I don't want to even sound to do any equalization. We're in this country when an attorney general, a certain attorney general spoke on phone with someone and actually was suggesting to the person to toe a certain line in order to leave him off the hook.
Okay.
What did it mean? Confederation spoke to a certain gentleman and told him that talk this way because you are not the target. Okay. What is wrong with even this one? We never asked him to lie.
How about the point Paul made that the weight of the evidence or the evidence would have been weightier if, for instance, the prosecution could have established with beyond reasonable doubt that the proceeds from the mining was something that was given to Wontumi. And so then it then becomes clear that Wontumi actually instructed him to go and do mining and not necessarily reclamation. That, as the judge said, the reclamation argument was a post facto. It was an afterthought. Okay? Yes. But once you're not able to prove, say, when the guy was doing the mining, he was giving the thing to Wontumi.
Why?
How then do you then blame Wontumi for what has happened? What was happening on the land? How do you
it doesn't come in at all because the law, the offense under the law did not go that far.
Okay.
That we should ask whoever
is a beneficiary.
Why? If he asked him to be giving the money to his girlfriend, wouldn't he be the one taking it? Anyway. So it doesn't mean anything. But you see, that is what I've said. At the end of the day, if the gentleman was actually on site mining, the problem with the Samurai Boy thing, and it must not be underscored. Look, they've destroyed the land. That's a fact. And it had been done even long before this gentleman was arrested. We wanted the one who had done that.
Okay.
So if we came and we realized we got the information that you actually did it, and you claim that you did it on the authority of someone, the person comes under the 19(2)(b), which was hitherto not there. And it has caught up with you because you facilitated it. You granted. It's not about who takes the benefit of it, the proceeds. The law doesn't actually make, and of course, the lawyers know once the law does not include that, the judge will not import it. You were mining. Which miner has been arrested, and we asked whether he took some money to somebody and then or to another.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you are mining. You don't have license. It stops there.
Okay. All right. So I have a final question to ask before we move to the issue about arrest of TikTokers and so on. And so Sadat Al-Haroun is a lawyer. He says that kindly inform Paul that a lot of his submissions have no legal position in our criminal jurisprudence. A clear example is his statement to the effect that the prosecution has a leeway to even arrest. Regrettably, prosecutors do not arrest or as he sought to suggest. The power to arrest is a preserve of the police, with citizens also having only limited power and circumstances to arrest with consequences if the arrest has no legal justification. So I advise him to slow on his courage to pose himself as a legal mind. I don't think he said prosecution.
Where is this guy coming from?
I don't think I heard him say
Honorable I shouldn't mind him. These are this kind of people. They just what is he talking about? He wants to be heard, so read it. He wants to be heard. He wants people to know that he's criticized Paul Adumochi. He's very happy.
It is not a benefit derived from Jesus' illegal mining that determines guilt on the part of Wontumi. That is completely misleading and never legal position. The authorization by Wontumi is to Jedu to enter the site in question without express authorization from the relevant ministry is an offense in and of itself.
That's what we discussed extensively.
The illegal activities of Jedu, actually not Jedu, resulted in huge gains by
also
Jedu,
he can also make mistakes.
In which
he wrote something wrong.
Wontumi had authorized
mistakes
to keep the proceeds from illegal act to himself to settle any payments. Wontumi had to had to make to Jedu for the purpose of the reclamation activities. Isn't that arrangement a huge benefit to Wontumi in the first place? And isn't that a crime? Can Paul even see Wontumi as a supposed principal to the Jedu in another perspective in this instance? And in what capacity authority did Wontumi give out the site to a third party for purposes of reclamation who did not even have the capacity? Circumstantial evidence is clearly what Paul does not get. So the benefit argued by Paul is a red herring in the case. Paul should therefore seek advice and stop dealing with purely legal matters. Thank you. Nyaho Tamaklo sent a message. He says, good morning, guys. Ghana must remove the political cloak that now seems to cover almost every issue of national accountability. The enforcement of our laws, including the prosecution of political office holders, criminals and their associates where evidence warrants it, should never be reduced to partisan persecution. If we continue to politicize justice, we risk weakening the very democratic transitions we claim to protect. One day, we'll wake up to find our democracy eroded and ask who destroyed it. The answer will be, we did. Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, the Venerable Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, and elderly statesman, thank you very much for sending that message. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm, he says that, good morning and assalamu alaikum, my brother. Listening to Paul this morning, I can only come to the conclusion that they are doing all they can to throw dust into our eyes. But I can assure him that they will fail big time. Paul and functionaries of the NPP should know that Wontumi is not about the loss of this land. High-profile personalities have been jailed in this country under the NPP administration, and nothing happened. I will advise them to appeal the judgment and stop wasting our time. I even have my doubts whether the appeal will stand the test of time because they have a bad case. That's Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm. Samuel Brian Boabeng says, more even people with real political weight are being persecuted, so that is the fate of those who carry no political weight. When I look at how some NDC members whose entire political standing rests on JM's presidency have become so intoxicated with power that they could even kill to prove how powerful they are, I become deeply concerned about the future of this country. Moderates like us believe in forgiveness and building bridges, but others would not be so forgiven. The precedents being set today will almost certainly be used on a far larger scale by hardliners in the NPP tomorrow. History has a habit of coming full circle. Samuel Brian Barbie, that's my final question I was going to ask them, but you've written it. This, do you do me, and not looking at the law and looking at the issue, case by case. We like this. Well, if it's NPP is in power, somebody is prosecuted, it becomes a case of politics, and then you said, anyway, Ghana. This one here says, Moro, today Paul is stating facts devoid of politics. Good one. The thing is, a lot of Ghanaians know the truth. So when politicians want to throw dust into our eyes, it becomes funny. You didn't add your name, unfortunately. And I keep saying that when you add your name and where you're sending us a message, it helps. Now, Carlos Omodiodio says, on the issue of Galamsey that we're discussing, I believe there are many more people like Wontumi and their so-called kingpins within the NPP, including some members of parliament from the opposition. We're urging the government to speed up its investigations because Wontumi is not the only person who should be investigated. There are many others, and the authorities must identify those who claim they were carrying out land reclamation while allegedly engaging in illegal mining. They should all be brought to justice. Once again, regarding Paul Adumosu, there have been allegations concerning activities linked to the Ghana Airports Company Limited as board chairman. We're calling on the security services to ensure that any ongoing investigations are expedited so the public can know the outcome, just as some people have called for investigations into any public officials to be accelerated. We believe in investigations involving Paul Adumosu should also proceed with unnecessary delay. Carlos, and I say God bless you. Now, Sir Obama from Pokwase, he says the careful scrutiny of the judgment by Justice Kokuvite leads to one irresistible conclusion, which is that Chema Wontumi is a political prisoner. He was targeted, persecuted, convicted, and jailed because of his perceived hard political opinion on national issues and nothing more. The NDC MP should continue celebrating the miscarriage of justice because his party is in power, but he should bear in mind that tomorrow is heavily pregnant. We, the midwives, are on standby for safe delivery, and we shall make sure Ghana becomes sweeter than honey post-2028, said Obama from Pokwase. And my last but not the least, Kwame Sapon-Asiedu, who is with the CDD, that's Center for Democratic Development, he sends this very interesting message. Now, he says that, good morning. There's something that concerns me about this Wontumi case. As the son of a late forester, I know land reclamation is only done when a parcel of land has been damaged. The damage could be as a result of illegal deforestation or mining, and also accidental contamination, for example, nuclear or oil spillage, as happened in Chernobyl. This brings me to my question: what caused the need for the land to be reclaimed, and what was Wontumi's role or responsibility in the damage? No one seems to dwell on this, and for me, that is a defect in this conversation. What was Wontumi's motivation or financial recompense from the reclamation? I think that he addressed that, Kwame. And Kojo Chumbuafo has sent us this message. Now, Kojo says that, Moro, can you kindly ask Paul whether said Natamaklo Achiunu's conviction was politically motivated? Isn't it shocking how the law is now not the law? All of a sudden, Paul is telling us a criminal trial adjudicated in a court with jurisdiction is now an appendage of government seeking to victimize a political opponent. That's according to Paul when he knows better. You, Paul, you're one of the people who goaded Wontumi on to become the insufferable criminal that he has been established to be. Wasn't it the order of the day to see Wontumi on your show displaying gold bars as if he lived in Fort Knox? Where do you think those gold bars came from? What did the Minister of Lands in the SWA government say about the Kunta mining? The Honorable Sam Abuja Abujinapo in the Ministry of Lands established that Kunta mining was engaged in illegal mining in the Tano Nimre forest. Wontumi himself, on an interview on Good Evening Ghana, said in 2013 that the NDC government seized his 500 excavators and 400 pickups. Can you kindly ask Paul what he thinks Wontumi will be doing with 500 excavators? Now, Abdul Kudu says that the position of the lawyer on the part of the prosecutor to arrest is wrong. That authority is implied, given that police work complementarily with the AG. In any case, doesn't the police prosecute as well? Haven't we heard countlessly that the OSP has arrested people, including Paul, on your show? And Musa from Abattoir says that Paul Ademoche's claim is a non-starter and lacks factual basis. You cannot give someone land for reclamation without making funds available for the exercise because the person is not Father Christmas. Paul comments appear to be driven more by propaganda than facts. However, lawyer Bernard has simplified the issue for the layman's understanding, unless, of course, someone has the ears of an elephant big, yet unable to understand. My regards to Dr. Abubafo, aspiring National Vice Chairman of the NDC. And I need to remind our viewers just quickly that Metro TV, Original TV, and Original FM Metro Digital are proudly presenting what we call the Clean Conference 2026. And is actually under the auspices of the Office of the Chief of Staff. And the theme is assessing Ghana's progress towards the UN SDGs Agenda 2030, SDG 6, Clean Water and Sanitation, SDG 7, Clean Energy, and SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. And it's coming off on Friday, 21st of August 2026, 9 a.m. exactly, not Ghana one time, let's be proper time, at the City Conference Hall, University of Ghana, Legon, Accra. Now, we're just 4 years to achieve the UN SDGs 2030. How far has Ghana come? That's the question we'll be seeking answers to on that day. Now, the answers begin with one national conversation, the Metro and Original Sanitation Conference with the Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Deborah. The Clean Conference is bringing together government, development partners, traditional authorities, industry players, academia, civil society, young people, and all Ghanaians. Cleanup exercise change is not only in conference rooms, so there will be a cleanup exercise on Saturday, 22nd August 2026, and is also led by the Chief of Staff. Join thousands of volunteers for this massive cleanup exercise across the major streets of Accra. Metro Clean Conference. Okay. All right. I'll check that out again. Now, let's spend the rest of the... Management has been magnanimous enough to give us some 15 minutes, so we can look at the issue of the arrest of persons who are breaking the law as far as the Communications Act is concerned, and some other issues that have come up. You know, just recently there was Kamil Al-Hassan, who said some very despicable words about the president, and he went to the extent of, threatening the president. As we speak, she is in Soham. She's been jailed for a year. Well, what are your issues with that?
I think that this is, there are two things that are worrying. This is what is creeping in our political culture of this insults thing. And we have talked about it, that I made this categorical statement that I think this started from around the 2012 election.
Okay.
And leading up to the 2024 election, we saw what happened. And the new style of doing it is people who may not belong to a regular media house, they can get a phone and get on social media, and then they start. And if you look at the trend, you see that these kinds of insults and very abrasive commentary, which targets people, and they even body shame, and they say all kinds of things that are often not verifiable. It is basically with the people who are not with regular media. And so there's a natural concern, and sometimes some of these people get a lot of following.
Yeah.
Because I think it's bringing out something in the society itself, that perhaps that's how we all are secretly. But if that's how we all are secretly, it's important to create the environment to keep that kind of behavior secret and not to be bringing it out and insulting people. So at one end, there's a concern that we have to talk about. You see, Dr. Bawumia wrote something that has been discussed across, that they shouldn't prosecute anybody before him.
Yeah.
But the more important thing, and I hope it's not true though, but Afenyo Markin, when he was completing his response to the budget, talked about how MPs who are on his side are being threatened, especially those who speak. So because this insults thing goes on, it can create an environment where the people in power, the government or individuals in power who are angry with one person or the other, can now decide that because you have criticized me, the whole framework is to arrest people. We can add it. Because people have been calling that from next week going, there's going to be arrest like the Miracle Abaji style. I mean, I have been told that because I have been very critical of Sremsai, they will come and arrest me because you are talking about Sremsai too much and you have to be careful. And that from Monday, today is Friday, from Monday going, the story is that there will be a lot of arrest of MPP people, particularly those who are talking very similar to the Miracles Abaji style. They will arrest you, they won't ask you any question, and then they will harass you just so that you can keep quiet, because some people in the system are not very happy with the proliferation of this kind of talk. And I get concerned also because it looked like there's no central situation with this one. There's no central command of it. So if you have that kind of situation, that's how it appears, I may be wrong. But if you have that kind of situation, then you can have an individual who is in the government, who has policemen, 10 of them, and say that go and arrest X person and go and put him in cells. And by the time the story goes round and round, and the central command will call and say, what has he done? What is the problem? And that's what I heard when people get arrested, that some of the most important people are called that what has happened, and they are not aware of it. They don't know, and they have to make phone calls. So that creates a very dangerous situation for the democracy, where people can, on the basis of the fact that you have been critical of them and they have power, maybe they are an MP or they are a minister, they can then orchestrate the system of national security and come and pick you up. We are hearing that this is what is going to happen. From Monday going, they'll be picking up a lot of MPP people, particularly those who are talking. And I mean, if that's so, and I hope it's not true, but if that's so, then it's something that we have to be concerned at. It's also because this whole central command thing that we are talking about, that it doesn't look like there is that. I mean, somebody was asking about that I was arrested. We're actually marking about a year this week since the arrest, and the OSP has been looking at the matter. It's been 1 year now. They are looking at the matter. So that's all I can say. A person who wanted to know. It was August. August is coming, so it's about 1 year. So when I was told that they are giving you 1 year, they're going to arrest you again, you are shouting on same side. When now your OSP thing is 1 year, then I started calling people. But some laughed at it and some said, no, this is a very serious matter we should talk about. So this whole TikTok people arrest, which starts from the proliferation of too many insults in our political communication and too many abuses in our political communication. But the fundamental thing is people talk about how this guy in America was the one who started it, and he did it, and got to a crescendo. And people felt that doing it can give you a name, and doing it can give you following. And so you will find that is rapid. That has to stop. That definitely has to stop. There has to be a way in which people stop following insults and start listening to facts. You can satire, you can tease, but you cannot be insulting somebody and insulting their family and saying very crass things, unprintable words about people on social media just because of politics. That has to find a way to stop, and it's very, very important. But this arrest that is to be carried out, if it is true, I will urge that it has to be looked at again.
Now, Paul, let me ask you this. So, when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was Attorney General under the Akufo administration, he led the repeal of the criminal libel law. Because at the time, I think you've said it here time and again, that look, the administration at the time felt that look, people should be allowed to speak and speak their minds, no matter how uncomfortable what they say may sound or feel. But we still have some laws in our books, So we have the Electronic Services Act. Exactly, and then you have the Criminal Offences Act itself. But at the same time, the Constitution talks about freedom of expression, which is enshrined in Chapter 5 or so of the 1992 Constitution. Do you see a certain conflict or a clash between speak, which is the law says speak, 1992 says speak. It doesn't really give any limitations of what to say and what not to say. But then you have some acts that says, no, you can speak, but don't say these things. And then people are arrested, whether in DC or MPP, for saying those things that whoever the prosecutor or whoever the arresting authority believes has crossed the line. How do we fix this?
Well, Samson Ladi Ayini, the lawyer at the host of Newsfile, who is a practicing lawyer, has done an editorial where he talks about the fact that this communication law has been brutally abused over the last 1.5 years, more than it was used in the whole 8 years of Akufo-Addo period. I think the important question is that there's no limit, there's no free way to abuse people. It's not quite true. The issue is that that process, when you cross the line, is not criminal. The person who's been affected, whether he's president of Ghana, whether he's a speaker of parliament, has ways to deal with it. One is the National Media Commission. When it was said about Akufo-Addo that he has a militia at the castle, he filed a complaint at the National Media Commission. A trial was conducted. The National Media Commission gave a conclusion. People believe that that facilitates free speech. You can go harder. You can go to the court and then sue the person in defamation. If at the end of the process, the court finds that what the person said is not correct, sometimes it can even end in prison if the fine is such that you are not able to pay and all of that. So it's not open-ended that you can say anything you want about somebody. The point being made is that if somebody says something, you cannot use the state power, which belongs to everyone. It doesn't belong to you. You hold it for a time of 4 years and all that. It doesn't belong to you. You cannot use the state power to fight the person.
Okay.
That's the real issue.
Fine,
that's what worries people, that people are talking against people. So I'm talking against you. You just keep it in your head. You wait. When you come to power, I will see. Then when you come to power, you send policemen to me. And then I also keep it. Okay, this guy, when I come to power, he will see. And so the appropriation of the state power, the state authority, which makes us different from England, which makes us different from developed countries. That's really the point. That anybody in England can say anything about a prime minister and anybody, and then he will go to defamation court. I mean, I have been defamation court. I have been sued. There's an MP that we mentioned her name about Swedru Secondary School. Now we plotted the Swedru Secondary School on the map. And it fell in, I think, something, Swedru East or something like that. But the actual fact is that the school is governed by Swedru West. So this MP who we alleged had fought out the Swedru headmistress, which was something the old boys were talking about. We placed the photograph on the television. That was another MP, the other Swedru. Both of them are women. So she takes legal action against us that we have offended her. When we put the document on TV, our attention was drawn to it. So the subsequent program, we came and said that it wasn't this one, it's actually this one. Okay. But that didn't stop her from suing. But that is not for her as an MP of the ruling party to then go and call police or some police around her and say that go and arrest the Good Evening Ghana host. He puts you can go to court and sue. I have also taken legal action against people who have spoken about me in a certain way. If the fact that I've taken legal action against somebody doesn't mean that if tomorrow my party comes to power and I have some authority, then now I use the police. That's the issue. Using the state power to apparently settle personal scores. That's really the problem.
If someone threatens to kill the president and his wife, where does this fall?
If someone
threatens to kill the president and his wife, which has happened in recent times, and we know what has happened to that person, I mean, would you say that is also wrong for the state to come in and arrest the person?
Well, if someone threatens to kill the president
and his wife,
that's a serious offense. We have to evaluate whether the person has the capacity to do so. But even if the person doesn't have the capacity to do so, he shouldn't be able to say that, and that requires an invitation from the police. That should naturally require an invitation from the police.
That you don't have a problem with.
Yeah, no. If you threaten, like Koko, I knew the whole situation when he said that there was going to be a coup d'état, and that the coup d'état was it is following from Akufo-Addo's father and their destiny and all of that. He was invited by the police. I mean, people should not be able to take a telephone and say that I will kill the president and his wife, or that I will kill anybody at all. Once you show a certain menswear towards murder, the police must reach you just to help the whole society and to be sure whether you are sane, whether all of that. So that, but if you criticize it, I criticize Deputy Attorney General, and then he gets offended and says that because of that, I'm going to, So you can't tell President and his wife that you threaten them. You can't tell an MP that you threaten him.
It says your administration is abusing, that's Section 208 of the Criminal Offence.
No, Samson Ladi did an editorial and said it.
Yes, the Electronic Communications Act.
You see,
just arresting people left, right, from center.
So it's unfortunate. That the way my brother Paul put the matter, in fact, look, first and foremost, he mixed up the issues. And I would try to segregate. He said he heard that as from Monday, a lot.
Oh, that's something I heard.
Don't worry.
I don't have
no, and I would even draw a certain inference here.
Mentioned something.
I was in Parliament yesterday.
That day, okay.
But you see, let me put out that whatever is said in Parliament cannot be used in the law court against any MP. He's immune.
Mm-hmm.
So it is also, let's also be careful when things are said there. I was there when he said it. They said all kinds of things. But you see, if you are reproducing it here, sometimes we need to be careful. But let me say it.
Is it defamatory?
I'm coming. I'll deal with it. Because you see, you said that they will be arrested because they are criticizing the government. And you even made
an example of Miracles Aboy.
And yourself. You said even you.
No, I didn't say, no, not myself.
You said even...
No, I'm talking about the potential arrest.
Yes,
so that
the potential arrest.
Yes.
Arrest. You said even you.
Yes.
You will never be arrested because you are criticizing President Mahama.
Oh, no, they won't say that.
No, but they don't even need to, because you see, there are equally... Look, even your show, yes, you criticize President Mahama. But there are other people elsewhere who does even worse. If you are being invited, I said it here, it may be because you held a public office. And the fact that you criticize President Mahama must also not be a tool for you to claim indemnity.
Correct. Oh, that's correct.
As though nobody can touch you. And if anybody comes for you, it means that it's because you are criticizing President Mahama. Let that not also be said.
No, it is the way in which they come for you.
Don't worry,
and you cannot have bail and all of that.
No,
if they come for you and ask you questions that
you see,
you did this, you did that,
you see the challenge I have with you tried, then you put it, you push in subtly. We were in this country when Oheneba Buama, a journalist like yourself, was imprisoned under Nana Addo Dankwa. For what? He only said that according to the information he has, the Supreme Court judges they seek counsel from Nana Addo before they give ruling.
Yes.
That was all.
Even bongo ideas.
Please. So why do you put it as though you said Nana Addo under this particular regime? Yes, it is. How is he abused? He was imprisoned. Imprisoned.
I don't get the point you're making.
The point I'm making is that
I exonerated Nana Addo. That's what you're saying.
No, but the point you made is that this current administration, and you are saying that nobody should be incarcerated because he said something. We have to. You gave an example.
I'm talking about the research from Samson Ladi that this electronic communications law, which
so
is the
we are not discussing something. Samson Ladi may say something I disagree.
No, it's research.
It doesn't matter. I can still disagree with him. I can still disagree with him. How many years?
It's numbers.
No, numbers. Look, if you want to know the number of people that were arrested
under the electronic
communications, are you talking? No, you see, there is the 207 and 208. It's not just electronic. The electronic was brought under your people, Akufo-Addo's era. But that's not what I'm even referring to. There's 207 and 208 has always been there. When the provisions that
207 of where?
Criminal Offences Act, offensive conduct and false publication. It's still law in our statute.
Yes.
It's criminal.
Yes.
So it is work.
False publication.
Please, hold it. Paul, what you said was that a speech must not be criminalized. This is what your people, everybody is saying. I mean, those people on the other side.
Yes.
When did they realize that? I'm saying that speech includes saying, it includes saying anything out there. But there are some, lines that are drawn that if you go beyond, it's criminal. It is offensive conduct. And then false publication. It's still law. It's criminal. It's not defamatory. So let nobody say that when you say things against me and you cross the line of 207, it's false publication, I should sue you. No. It is a crime.
No, you are so right about that.
Yes.
But the issue is that, is it being abused? That's the question.
How is it abused? If it is 1,000, no.
So you see, think it's not being abused.
Please hold it. And that is the problem I have with whatever research anybody may have made. If you are making a research to know how many people, you should do a research to find out how many have committed the offense.
Right.
The fact that it didn't happen, maybe at that time people didn't do it. Mm-hmm. So if it is happening to them, people, look, it is not. As lawyers, and I expect that is what should happen. It is looking at the law to find out whether actually people are being held in accordance with the law. That is what is possible. It's not how many times it happens. It's not.
Because honorable, you think the law is not being abused.
How is it abused?
Fair enough. That's okay.
Yes. How is it abused?
People think the law is being abused.
No. If we, as a country, if we want to repeal 207 and 208, which Nana Addo as Attorney General saw and left after repealing the criminal libel sections, he saw the 207 and 8 and he said, no, let's keep it. Nana Addo Dankwa. And it's remained till date.
Is it capable of being abused?
No, but everything. Crime. Look, this Muntuli thing, we are here and you are saying that the judgment is not a fair one. every section. It's not the 208 and 207. Any provision could be. Look, the police can arrest you for even stealing. No,
that's saying that it's being abused.
How is it being abused?
Yeah, so that's your view. But
yes, but allow me.
But you are allowing them to think that it's being abused.
No. I'm saying that as far as I'm concerned, it's not abuse because, and it is hypocritical on their part.
Oh, okay. So that then now you are moving forward.
You understand?
That is hypocritical for anyone to think
because
it's being abused.
Ibuama was imprisoned in this country under a regime for just saying he heard that judges go to seek counsel from Nana before delivering ruling. And then he was incarcerated. Okay. It is not the case that anybody, look, I would any day go for this 207, 208 to remain in our statutes. Let's stop. We can criticize. We came here, we criticize each other. But it remains so. Nobody would be given the license all in the name of free speech. And I would implore Dr. Bawumia, and I hope with the greatest respect. Look, don't make political heroes out of these breaches of the law.
Okay.
So if anybody goes out there to do anything and the police, and the person actually admits that I said it, most of these people, look at this Baba Amandu. Baba Amandu admitted that I'm saying it. When he was even arrested and he was denied bail, he said that I'll go and come back, I'll die for my party, I'll do this.
All right.
This lady, till date, as we speak, even though the MPP is fighting for her, till date, the lady has not even been shown remorse. She feels she's doing the right thing.
A TikToker?
That lady that has been in prison.
But is she able to talk?
No, even before, when she was being looked for.
She didn't apologize.
And she was all over the place. She went into hiding. She went into hiding and she was calling on, yes, she was even calling on MPP people to come to her aid. And that she had done nothing wrong when they were looking for her. She's not shown any remorse till date. And these are people who, do you remember
that? But Wontumi showed remorse, didn't he?
No. I thought you were talking about 207.
I know you're talking about remorse.
You said Wontumi showed remorse. Where?
In all his.
No, but he pleaded not guilty. It was the trial that convicted him. Wontumi didn't say anything.
No, the way you're talking about remorse.
Yes, but Wontumi didn't. He said he is not guilty. In fact, yesterday I was with Professor Lekwa. He said when they went there with Dr. Bawumia, Wontumi was still talking, and he even said that Anglo Gold people are still working there. He was giving some whatever
in prison.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what Kinsley Nyako said on Aduma FM yesterday.
Two more messages. Honorable Facho, just two more messages and then we'll go. Now, say Obama from Pokwase is back. He says, for the record and purpose of precision, those TikTokers who got arrested did not threaten to kill the president. What they did was to wish that God kills him. How does anybody get criminally prosecuted for a spiritual wish?
If you say, no. You see, this thing, if you say that the president...
You wish that God kills the president?
No, it's not even the death. Or Roro and Kola and Glossa.
Is that what the girl said?
Yes! Do you know the things he said? Don't go there. That's criminal. If the president is doing that, would you even entrust even if the president says that your child should come for an award at the Jubilee House?
Right. This is the TikTok.
Yes, the things he said.
This is the most. Just a minute, I beg you. This is the most intolerant government in the Fourth Republic. And then let me end with this one from Fifi Kofi Ebusia Penyi. He says that a guy in America which Paul spoke about or referred to has openly declared a political affiliation on television, that he's a member of the MPP. So what is Paul talking about? He should be bold enough and advise his MP social media guys to be courteous. Good morning. Fifi Kofi Ebusia Penyi. Guy G from Cantonment says that let this serve as a warning to every NDC appointee occupying public office today. Any act of corruption, criminality, abuse of office or looting of state resources will be accounted for. Ghanaians are watching. Every contract you inflate, every city you steal, and every abuse of power you engage in is being recorded. Power is transient. The same law you are using today will be used against you. Be warned. Guy G from Cantonment. And Kojo Chumbafo says I should tell you this. Paul. Kojo Chumbafo. Paul. Kojo said I should tell you this. Says, by the way, nice shirt, Paul. He says he likes your shirt. You are now wearing...
Let me ask Kojo Chumbafo something.
Yes.
He's my brother.
Yes.
Kojo Chumbafo has said... he said recently...
Yes.
That he's still on bail.
Yes.
At Yoko.
Yes.
I know major interventions that were made to ensure that he's not arrested and incarcerated at Yoko. Because those of us who know Kojo Chumbafo know that if you leave Kojo Chumbafo at free zones for 100 years, he will not steal any money.
Okay.
So when Yoko started prosecuting him, there were people in MPP who said that no, Kojo is not like that. However, the system continued to invite him and blah, 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 up till today. He himself says that he's still on bail with Yoko.
Yes.
Does it mean that he did something wrong? We know that he didn't do something wrong. The time has shown that he did nothing wrong.
Okay.
We know what his training is. He won't do anything wrong. So the fact that you are being invited and you are being harassed, it doesn't mean that you have done something wrong. It can be political.
All right.
And Kojotu Buafo is aware, and he himself has said it before. I don't know whether it's true, that a lot of his arrest was occasioned by this Good Evening Ghana, a Good Morning Ghana platform, where he will come as an NDC person and speak very harshly against the opposition.
So
is that why somebody should be
arrested? So he says, Osahene Adomachi, freedom of speech doesn't mean you can sit on social media and threaten the well-being of the president of this republic.
Good day, fellow Ghanaians. Dr. Adelaide Haraba-Siaja-Fon is my name, Executive Director of the Jospon Group of Companies and the CEO of the African Agribusiness Consortium. By the grace of God, after several years of contributing significantly to Ghana's sanitation and waste management transformation, the Jospon Group made another bold decision a few years ago to support the transformation of Ghana's agriculture sector.